Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me? Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me? I don't know. Can you? I honestly don't know. There we go. Should be able to. Okay. Good. Alright, here you go. Let me do my greeting. Hi everyone, this is Userone. Welcome to Userone Talks. Sorry about that, that's by clicking my seat. And today, we gotta recognize a problem. So if you look back at the previous live streams that we've had, you can notice a bit of a trend. A lot of talking over each other, a lot of arguing, not many resolutions, okay? So for example, okay, let's go back to last week's stream. If we look at my debates that I had with, people who are genuinely passionate about these topics, who are very certain that they are right, what ends up happening is we end up talking over each other because we both think we're right and we're not letting the other person finish. Now, I'm not gonna put a blame on somebody else because I think as a host, it's my responsibility to keep this in control. Just like it's my responsibility to make sure the people I interview, they get held accountable if they troll. Stuff like that is exactly what I should be looking out for. So this stream is a bit of an experiment. We're gonna go online. We're gonna be looking at different, various debate tactics that we can try using. Okay? And we're gonna experiment. We're gonna tactics. What I'm thinking of is we go through, we find something that we enjoy, and if it doesn't work, we try something else, basically. So it's the principle of throwing shit at the wall until something sticks. Okay, let's see how well we're doing with the stream. I just want to make sure that you guys are able to see it, able to hear me, that everything is fine. Okay, so I'm able to hear. Нихера отвечает тоже на русском. Я знаю русский язык. I know Russian. Russian is my native language, but this stream is English speaking, so sorry about that. I might eventually make a Russian channel. I kind of have already, but I haven't uploaded anything there, so you can't really say that I have. Okay. We want Nicholas Mendoza back. I know. I noticed a lot of people messaging me that, but I'll think about that. Okay. Anyway, this is not about that. Let's go back on topic. So when I look up debate tactics, or other debate formats is what I should be looking up. Let's see what we have in stock. So I'm just gonna do this real quick. There we go. Okay. So the topic for the debate is given to the participants between 15 and 20 minutes before the debate starts. Okay, well that's not gonna work with the format. Okay, that could work with the format of the show. I could actually just give the topic for the debate way before anything at all. I could just straight up, like, for the upcoming week. That is a note. Yeah, let's open it like a notepad and just note it down. Hold on, let's do a fancy one. Debate. Give topic for debate. Ahead of sign. Okay. And this is from Wikipedia. Wikipedia, it's a finicky source, but it does link the sources. So, let's see which source does this come from. Debate's a process. Yeah, I know what debate is, like the definition of a debate. This is from the New Shorter Oxford English Dictionary. Okay, I trust Oxford English Dictionary to a degree. So okay, I like that. Yeah, okay. Okay, boom. Okay. There's 4 types of a debate: team policy debate, national debate tournament, cross-examination debate association, Lincoln-Douglas debate. That's more than 4 types. I see at least 5. Okay, Jesus. Okay, there's a lot of types of debates. That's what makes it complicated. Okay, well, what I'm gonna do, okay, is I'm going to enable you guys to wait for the interview while I find the debate that I'm looking for. So if you're not familiar with how this works, we have a Discord called Roleplay Union. There's a link in the description so you can join it. You need to have had at one point been in a hardcore roleplay community, because that's what we're discussing, hardcore roleplay. What I mean by hardcore is it needs an application to be able to join. I think that's pretty hardcore. If you're acquiring an application to join a video game, I think you're pretty invested in that. But yeah, what I'm gonna do now is show you real quick. So you will appear on this page, which is called How to Get Verified, and it will tell you exactly what to do. We accept LSRP, Red County Roleplay, any roleplay server that we deem as hardcore roleplay, which means that you need an application to join it, and it has to be a roleplay server. Once you've done that, you should be able to come down here into waiting for interview. That's pretty much it. You wait in that page. It only has slot for one person, so there you go. I just enabled it. There should be somebody. Okay, we got somebody already. Right, so before I let them in, I just want to find a quick format that we can try using. And we're gonna try doing 15 minutes per person. 4 fast debate formats for secondary class. Why not? Wait, there's like different pages and stuff. Abbreviated Lincoln Douglas debate. Okay, let's give it a shot. First affirmative speaker, 2 minutes to introduce the topic. Okay, but the thing is, these are more prepared debates. Like, we don't really have a prepared debate right now. Yeah, this whole thing is kind of... See, this is the thing. We haven't been really thinking about the format of the debates up until this point. I just, I'm thinking the point of this whole thing, but the point of Roleplay Union is to find the variety of the solutions, to note down the solutions. Alright. I found NTU. What does that mean? Rules of debate, condensed from competitive debate rules and techniques. There are two teams consisting of 2 or 3 speakers. Can't do that. Each team has 2 or 3 constructive speeches. Okay. Let's note it down. So this is condensed from competitive debate by George McCoy, New York. Okay, we'll just quickly note that down. Okay. Alright, so rules for this debate. 2 teams. I'll note this down even though we can't do most of this. 2 free speakers. At least right now we can't do most of this. Okay, each team... hold on, let me just fix this so that you guys can see what I'm looking at. This is what I found. Again, we're not gonna necessarily, use just stick to it if it doesn't work. If it doesn't work, we're gonna move on to a different one. So I just quickly need to note this down so that I know what the rules are, and we're gonna stick by the rules. The rules are gonna apply to everybody equally. That's the whole point of Roleplay Union. Okay, because I want to make a platform for roleplay, not a roleplay server. That's what I'm looking for, and I want to learn from things that we debate upon. I don't just want to turn it into a shouting match like we had last time, which I apologize, by the way. It's just, it hasn't been very progressive so far, so hopefully we can change that. Alright, when worded a proposition of policy, the topic requires the affirmative to support some specified action by particular individual or group. When worded does anybody understand what that means? When worded as a proposition of a policy. Okay, so when an argument is worded as a proposition of a policy, the topic requires the affirmative to support some specified action. Topic requires the affirmative to support some specified action by a particular individual or group. So basically, I think it's saying your point can't just be ambiguous. Okay, it has to be specific. It has to support that a certain group of people or a certain person has to do something. Okay, specific about what a group or person should do. There you go. And I'll just add and why just because. Okay. The affirmative has the right to make any reasonable definition of each of the terms of the proposition. What does the affirmative mean in this case? I don't understand. Has the right... I know affirmative means positive. Like if somebody asks you, do you want pancakes? You can be an asshole and say affirmative. But, in CSGO, you can, be tactical and say, oh, toast is down, affirmative, But what does it mean here? Because here it's like, it's not a response, it means something else. Can somebody explain that to me? What do you think of? Okay, you guys are like debating very certain cases about all kinds of stuff. We're gonna get to debates in a minute. First, we need to discuss how we're gonna debate, because up until this point, we've kind of been loosely debating, and it all ended up in a cluster mess. Okay, it's just a cluster mess, and there's no point to it. There's no point to it so far. So we need a format. Okay, we need to work on a format. So that's what we have to do during this stream. The affirmative has the right to make any reasonable definition of each terms of the proposition if the negative challenges... Hold on. You guys can't see. If the negative challenges the reasonableness of a definition by the affirmative, the judge must accept the definition of the team. Okay. So there needs to be a judge. There needs to be a judge. Okay. You know what? Now this is getting interesting. Okay, so how about we change a little bit of... We have two people waiting for interview instead of one. Oh, actually I could just bring one person and bring another person. I don't need to change anything. I can just have two people debating and I can be the judge, actually, like, overlooking the thing. Okay, so if I'm a third party, I will be less likely to get emotional. I'll be more likely to just have... Okay, I like that. And we still have different people. Okay, you know what? Let's just stop there. He who asserts must prove. He who asserts must prove. In order to establish an assertion, the team must support it with enough evidence. Yeah, well, that's... Okay, I'll add that too. Okay, evidence is necessary. Okay. Okay. So, this is changing a little bit. It's gonna be interesting. So, for the first phase, I'm not gonna debate somebody else. I'm gonna just bring them in and see if they have certain opinions, and then we'll see if we have somebody else who have different opinions about certain topics. Okay, let's try that. Let's give it a shot. Okay, so, our first guest. We have Blue Nutella. So let me just... Blue Nutella. Okay. Okay, well, let's hope for the best that this person is legitimate and isn't trying... We did have before we continue, we did have an issue where people would use the same character. Like, our verification process requires you to submit a character name and to show proof that you have access to the character or have had access to that character in the past. Now that's all well and fine, but up until now we didn't really have a database of those characters. We didn't really put those characters anywhere. We just believed that nobody would use the same character twice. Clearly they have started doing that. People started doing that. That's kind of silly of us to think that they won't do it eventually. So now we do have a database of characters. We actually will enforce that, so you won't be able to apply with the same character twice. If you've been banned, you're not going to be able to circumvent a ban that way. Even if you have a different Discord, that doesn't matter because we're looking at the character name. So anyway, moving on, we have a guest here. So we're just gonna talk to them, see what kind of opinions they have in regards to roleplay, and maybe we'll find somebody else who they will be able to debate with. If not, then I'll just have to debate with them, with following as many rules as we can. Okay, here we go. Blue Nutella, don't disappoint me. Here we go. Blue Nutella, how are you doing? Are you there? Hello. Hello, my friend. Are you able to hear me? Okay. It doesn't sound like he's able to hear me for whatever reason. Oh, I know why. Hello. Testing. Can you hear me now? Oh, I'm not in it. Hello. Testing. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Okay, good. Okay, now that we have the technical issues fixed, do you know what we're doing tonight?
Not really.
Okay, so here's what we're doing. We're looking for a debate format for this show. And to do that, I'm trying out different things that I find on the internet. I found something called Competitive Debate Rules and Techniques by George McCoy Musgrave from New York. And basically, there's supposed to be two teams, 2 to 3 people, but okay, we don't care about that. We'll just have 2 teams of 1 person each. So we need to figure out a topic for the debate right now. So, let me ask you, how long have you been a part of Roleplay Union?
Unreal no.
Hello?
Unreal noise.
Do you... I didn't understand what you said.
I said I don't really know.
You don't really know how long you've been a part of Roleplay Union. Okay. Can you tell me why you joined Roleplay Union to begin with?
I know, just for chatting.
You just like to chat? Okay. Okay, well, what kind of roleplay service have you been a part of?
LSRP,
Okay, when did you
Red
join?
County,
Okay, that's good, that's good. When did you join?
like 1 or 2 years.
2 years ago, okay. So, what do you think is the biggest... Have you had any problems on RCRP or LSRP?
Nah.
No, not at all? You don't think there's any issues with those servers at all? You never had any problems?
None.
No, never, okay. Well, have you ever had anybody disagree with you on a topic regarding roleplay?
I don't really think so.
What?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Okay. Well, I mean, you've gotten pretty lucky. 2 years, and nobody disagrees with you ever. You never have any issues. Man, I wish I had your experience. I genuinely do. What do you generally do on LSRP? I just want to know at this point.
Usually RP in gang.
You're playing gangs. Really? So you're playing gangs in this illegal roleplay scenario, and you still don't have you ever had like any administrative punishments? Have you been admin jailed, banned, anything like that?
Yes, before I have.
You have? Okay. Have you ever? Do you think any of those jails or bans have been unfair?
I think they all are fair. Only I think once it's.
There we go. So we do have one issue. Okay. So one time you got punished and you think it's not fair. Was it a ban or an admin jail?
Admin jail.
Okay. Did you report it? Like, did you report the admin?
Nah.
Why not?
Until see to fucking report.
Let's okay. Can you move a little bit further from the microphone? There's a lot of like
I'm
popping. Okay, so you didn't report it, and why is that?
I didn't report him.
You didn't report why?
No, I just don't feel like reporting.
Is it too much effort?
Unreal, no, I just don't feel like.
Okay. Well then, okay. So tell me about the circumstances. Why do you think it's not fair? What happened?
Well, basically, I didn't check the rules. Like before, it was more scamming limit, like whatever it was, and then it was like 50k. So, I scammed the dude over like 100k, and after I scammed him, he said he's gonna report me. I gave him back 50,000, and then he said I have to give him back that other 50,000. I was like, okay, but then he ran into his house and just quit the game.
Okay. But you don't think you should be punished because why?
Because I was gonna give him back the money, but once I drove back with my friend, he just left.
Okay, this could be a topic for a debate. So you think that if you do something that's technically against the rules, right? We can agree that it's against the rules, right? If you do something that's technically against the rules, but then you try to repay it, then you should not be punished at all, right? That's your argument, as I understood it.
Yes.
Okay. I can take the other side. Don't. Okay, so I'm just gonna take the other side, but don't think of me as actually believing the other side. I'm just gonna stay out of this argument. Just pretend that I'm a third party, but I'm just gonna pretend that I'm the other, like I'm the admin, right? Because we don't have anybody else trying to debate you. So, let's imagine that I say that you should have been punished anyway, even though you tried to repay. Okay? Okay, let me just remind myself of the rules. So, okay. So, okay. I'm gonna make an argument why I think you should have been punished still. Because you should have known the rules to begin with. It's your responsibility to know the rules. And even if you try to pay it back, then it doesn't matter. It doesn't change the fact that you have broken the rules. So that's the argument that I'm gonna go with. Do you agree or disagree?
I'll agree with it.
Okay. Well, that was a very short debate. That was a very short debate. Okay. I mean, you can make counter arguments if you want. This is just for fun. I just want to see what kind of debate format works. If you want to make an argument, go join the waiting for interview sections, guys. Don't just type in the comments. We're waiting for you in the Discord. If you're verified, go get verified and join the waiting for interview. I shown you. Hold on, real quick. You go here, waiting for interview. This is the voice chat that you joined. You double click here and it has one slot. So if it's full, then cool. Okay, so you're not gonna argue with this point, as I understand. Okay. Well, okay, but you said you feel like it's unfair, right? So what? So did you change your mind? Do you think it's fair now?
I don't really fucking know.
Okay, what? Well, okay, let's debate about what is fair to begin with, right? Do you want to look up the definition of what is fair? That's what I usually do when I get stumped like this. Fair. Let's see. Okay. So the formal definition, according to... What is this according to? Oxford, okay. Fair is treating people equally without favoritism or discrimination. Okay. So, do you think you got treated differently? Like, if I don't know, if an admin's friend did the same thing that you did and didn't know the same rules, do you think they would be treated differently?
Maybe, I don't know.
See, it's difficult for me to lead this conversation when you're not giving me specific answers, and I think that was one of the points of the debate, that you can't just give vague response. You have to kind of make a point. We can't have a debate when you have such ambiguous answers, you know? Like, maybe this, maybe that, and I it's my fault because I didn't really prepare a topic ahead of time, and I apologize for that. So I can't really blame you too much for it. But we can't really hold a debate. We need something that you're certain about. Do you have something that you are like 100% sure that is true, that a lot of people disagree with you? Everybody has something like that. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like, something that you believe, but other people think otherwise.
Yeah, I understand what you mean by that, but let me think if there has been any situation.
You can cut out there, I can't hear you.
I said I understood you, and I'm a real good think if there has been any situation.
You cut out again.
What?
Yeah, I couldn't hear what you said. You said situation, and then I couldn't hear anything you said. Or is
I'm
or
gonna
is
think
that
of
it?
I'm gonna think of a situation if there has happened any.
So you okay? But, okay, so the only thing we have to go off of is the admin jail, and you already changed your mind on it. I really can't.
Oh, okay. Like about the what I think is like what I agree with, and other people disagree. I
Yes.
remember being in a faction, and I
Okay.
had a skin. It was pretty fucking regular fucking skin, and they just fucking said
Okay.
it was
Let's limit swearing. Okay, I know we do it sometimes, but not every sentence. Okay.
okay. Okay. So I had that skin, and a lot of people said it was unrealistic. I don't know why, even though it was a regular skin.
Okay. Can you tell me what the skin was? There's a like. Can you describe it?
Basically, it was a female skin.
Uh huh.
It had like black, long dreaded hair, black shirt, like jeans, and shoes. And they said that it was unrealistic because
Was the what?
the ass was too big. They said
Are they? Hold on. I'm gonna. Are they talking about this skin? Hold on. I'm gonna post it in the interview room. Do you see the interview room? You should have access to interview room text channel. I see it in Discord. I'm gonna post an image there. Is this the skin that they were talking about?
I don't see the room.
Okay, I'm gonna tag you in the room. Why can't I? What the? Okay, something ain't right. Hold on. Okay, now you should be able to see the room. My bad. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna tag you in the room so that you can see it easier. Now you should be able to see it. So, is this the skin that you were talking about? I'm gonna show it on stream as well.
No, it was a skin.
You cut out again.
It was a mod. It wasn't.
It wasn't an actual. It was a modded skin. How did they see the skin if it was modded though? Aren't all mods client side?
In gang factions, there are discards, and we each other share our skin, so everyone can see our skin.
Okay, can you send me like a screenshot with the skin that you had?
Let me try.
You can post it in the interview room. I'm just curious, so we can have a discussion about. I actually like this a lot because the debate of what's realistic and what's not is a vague thing. From my experience, when somebody says something is unrealistic, they mean just unstereotypical. It doesn't fit the stereotype, it doesn't fit the belief, it doesn't look good at the first glance. So this is a good thing to debate. I actually like this. Okay, we might actually have a contender as well. Somebody's in a waiting for interview room. We'll see what they have to say, but first I want to get your point of view. I want to get full context for your situation. And if you have any screenshots that you can post and look at, then we also have evidence and we can actually have a formal debate. This is amazing. Okay. Wow. Okay, it worked out.
Okay. Yeah, give me a second. My internet's pretty fucking...
Okay. I'm gonna give you 3 minutes, okay? I'm gonna go talk to the other guy real quick, see what they have to say. And, oh, they left. Never mind. I was about to talk to the other guy in the waiting for interview room, but they just left. Okay. Okay, let's see what the comments have to say. I don't know what he mean by Blue Nutella. Blue Nutella is just his username. That's... What am I supposed to say? He meant that he is blue and he eats a lot of Nutella, man. Is that how you picked your nickname? To be honest, I don't want to know. The name is the name. Oh, he's back. Okay, so the other guy is back. You go ahead and find the... Do you have any screenshots of that skin? You must, right?
Okay, I think I found one.
Okay, paste it in the interview room. I'm just... Okay, there it is. Okay, let me just have
You really can't see the fucking side.
Okay, but we can kind of see it. Okay, I'm just gonna show it real quick. Is it okay if I show it? Yeah, okay. I mean, I kind of have to for the sake of the argument. So this is the skin that you wanted to use, and they said it was unrealistic because the ass was too big. So you were not allowed to use that skin, or was it just a debate among your crew?
They said it was unrealistic, even though I thought it was realistic. Okay, found a side of the skin. Wait.
Okay. I don't know if this stream is gonna get age restricted because of polygons that look like butts. I mean, I saw like people using like nude skin mods and posting videos on YouTube, so I think it'll be fine. But still, it's kind of funny. It's an interesting debate that we're having. Okay, so that's... Just gonna show it real quick. I mean, it is pretty round, but I'm not gonna say that I haven't seen butts round like this. I mean, there's a lot to commentate on. There's a lot to say that people could say. Overall, personally, I'm just not gonna state any of my opinions. What I'm gonna do instead is I'm gonna see if I'm gonna invite somebody else into this debate and see if they have the different opinion. Okay? What do you think about that?
Sure.
Are you willing to debate another person?
Okay, sure.
Awesome. Okay. So this other guy, of course, his name is. I'm just gonna call him man. I'm just gonna call him man. Okay. If I deem your name to be inappropriate, I'm just gonna go with the first letter of it. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Hi. How you doing, my man?
Hello, Userone. How are you?
I'm good. Okay. Listen. So you should have access to the interview room, and there should be a link, the last link that you see there. Can you click that?
Why is it not embedding? This is unsafe.
What?
This is unsafe for me. It's not embedding into Discord. It's not a safe link. But I'll click it. Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
it's okay. I can just paste the image. Don't worry about it. I'll just paste the image straight into the interview room so that you can see it. There you go. Do you see it?
Yes, I do see it.
Yep. Okay, so, okay, hold on. I'm just gonna tell him. Just wait a minute. Will BRB. Okay, so this is the topic of the debate. The guy called Blue Nutella. He came in and he said that in his faction, right, they shared skins, and in his gang faction, this is the skin that he shared, and a lot of people said that it's unrealistic because the butt is too big. Okay, what do you think? Do you agree with that? That the butt is too big?
Bollocks. He should be role playing what he wants to role play.
Okay.
She doesn't care about her skin.
So you don't think it's an issue that the butt of the skin is too big?
Is it too big? I don't know.
Okay. I'm just trying out different debate formats. So, do you think you could just take the different side and try to argue that it's too big and unrealistic?
Okay, I'll do just that.
Okay,
the butt
awesome.
is too big.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and put myself kind of like in the middle of you. You're gonna be debating on the right here. Blue and Tail is gonna debate on the left, and we're gonna do a little bit of experiment. See what's gonna happen. Also, I'm gonna change the topic.
So we're role playing now.
Oh no, we're not role playing. We're literally debating whether a butt is too big or not. Realistic butt size. Perfect. This is the topic of the century right here. This is the most important topic ever. Okay, I'm actually gonna move.
To be fair, I want to talk about RCRP and realism. So
Perfect. Okay, there we go. Realism is kind of like the topic here as well. So, all right, let's move you over to the interview room. Let's get this going. Okay. Okay, Nutter. So, okay, well, might as well just put your name in there because I just called it by it. Okay, fine. All right. So, we're gonna have a little bit of a debate about whether the character is realistic or not. Okay, and I'm actually gonna add the character kind of into the. Hold on. How do I add an image? Hold on. I'm just gonna add a quick image. Topic image. Okay. What is happening? Okay, okay, so this is gonna take me a while. Hold on, I'm trying to add an image. For some reason, it's taking a little bit. But okay, the point of the discussion here, right? Is the butt too big? On the left side, we have Blue Nutter, who is saying it's not too big, it shouldn't matter. And on the right side, we have Nutter, who says, well, he actually agrees with him, but I kind of made him take the other point, and we're going to be arguing about realism. Okay, so Blue Nutella, start with your first statement, like basically state what you're arguing. Is the butt in this image? Why should you be allowed to? Why is this realistic? Why is this okay to roleplay? Okay.
Well, you might have a big ass, but you might have small. It's how you born.
So your argument is that it's boring to roleplay a small butt?
Now I'm not saying boring. It's how you born, or
He
like,
said it's
how are you
how she was
going
born.
to?
How she was born. Okay. So you're saying some people are born like that, and because of that, it's realistic, right?
Bro, I can put a lot of fucking Instagram pictures, big ass.
But okay,
like,
Instagram. Okay, all like most Instagram photos that are popular are Photoshop. That's not an argument. Hey, I'm sorry. I shouldn't inject myself into this. I keep doing it. I'm sorry. I should let Nutter interject
I'd
with
like
that.
to interject to say
Yes.
Instagram is not realistic. It is not the real world. It is
Okay.
a fallacy.
Mhm.
And hence this skin is unrealistic.
What do you have to say about that, Blue?
I don't know.
I think I've won.
Blue, you have to stick with your point. You can't just be like, I don't know, the moment somebody challenges you, you have to stick with it. Do you just give up? Are you never gonna use this skin anymore?
I'm not even anymore in the faction. This faction's already dead.
Oh,
a
so
long.
because the faction is dead, you're not gonna use the skin. Why is the skin even integral to the faction in the first place?
What? I didn't even hear you say it.
Why is it like? Do you just stop using mods that are related to a faction the moment the faction falls apart?
Well, I sometimes might use it in maybe other servers, but I have stopped using this mod because I don't really RP a female character,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't know, I just don't use this mod anymore.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you decided, no, I'm not gonna use this mod anymore because I don't want to play female characters anymore. Okay. I guess the question is, should other people be able to use it?
Well, I think well, if they want, they can use it because why can't they use?
So that's the argument, okay? Not why can't they use this skin? This is your flaw. What's your
As I
counter?
just said, this skin is based off an Instagram picture, and therefore it is unrealistic.
Because Instagram pictures are unrealistic, right? They are photoshopped. Yes.
Yeah. Yes, like
Okay.
most of your Instagram feed, if I'm correct. I'm not sure.
Well, okay. My Instagram feed does have filters in it, so you're technically correct.
There we go.
Alright. So Blue Nutella, he's saying that this skin is based off of an Instagram filter or Instagram, and Instagram is unreliable because people Photoshop themselves on Instagram, and because of that, it's unrealistic. Do you? So because of that, people shouldn't be able to use this skin. Do you agree with that or no?
Why would it be based on an Instagram picture? It can be based on a lot of other, just like a fucking female. Why is it just
Why is it just based off of Instagram?
it's maybe just based off a fucking actual female.
So you're saying a real human female could look like this, right?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. What's your counter argument, Nutter?
What do you mean a counter argument? I can't counter argument that. Have you not seen a woman before? They all
I'm
come
trying
in
to
all
host a
shapes and
debate.
sizes.
Wait, hold on. So you're saying a woman can look like this, or she cannot look like this?
Yes, why not? Maybe modified, you know, plastic surgery.
Okay, so you're saying she can look like this. Okay. Uh, mhm. So we have 1 point to Blue Nutella because we have
What do you
come
mean?
to the
I think it's-
conclusion that a woman can look like this. Therefore, it should be realistic, right? Okay. Well, glad we have come to a conclusion that a woman that can have a big butt. Nato, do you have anything else that you want to debate? You want to talk about realism in general, right?
Yes, RCRP, San Andreas State Police, they pumped a basement with water, flood the suspects out. What do you think?
I think that's really risky and irresponsible. Holy shit. I mean, to be clear, I've personally witnessed SASP shooting at SBI, like killing SBI agents because of a misunderstanding. And I actually made an article about that, but it's funny. But them like consciously choosing to do something like that's interesting. Blue Nutella, do you think that police, if the suspects hunker down in like a basement, do you think police should be able to just flood the place to get them out of there?
Fuck, well, I don't really know how's that gonna work in the real life, but I don't really know how they gonna get even the water in there since it's just done like in basement. There's to get down to the basement. There's usually just a little small hole to get into it, but how the fuck or maybe the suspects do even have guns? They just gonna get shooting at them.
So you're saying police were justified in flooding the basement?
Well, the suspects, if they can get food up, the suspects might have guns, and if the guns would be wet, they would just fucking shoot.
Just answer yes or no. Do you think police were justified?
Sure.
Okay, good. So, Nato, you think they were not justified? Am I interpreting that correct?
Yes, correct.
Great, so now we actually have a legitimate argument where you don't have to pretend to be on the other side. Good. Okay, let's do this. So, police flooded. There are two suspects. Or how many suspects were there? Does it matter? Not really. Multiple suspects.
Multiple suspects, probably.
Okay. I'm just gonna like note it down so that we all know what's going on. Right, so multiple suspects. They were armed, right? Were they armed? Did the police know for sure whether they were armed or not, or do you not know? Like,
Yes, they were barricaded in the basement.
Okay. I'm trying to select this text. Hold on. Okay, barricaded suspects, possibly armed. Okay, barricaded, armed, barricaded in basement.
Oh, there was one suspect in the basement.
One armed suspect. Police flood basement to get him out. Okay. Let me just make this a little smaller so that it fits on screen. That's way too small. That's still too small. Okay. Okay, so here we go. Now we got context for the argument. Now everybody can argue their point. Okay, so let's start. So Nato, you brought up the argument. You're saying they are not justified. Why?
Because
Why?
it will do millions in damage.
Millions in
The
damage.
house. Yes, I'll send you a picture.
Is it like a... Where did this is it like a huge like...
I can't post pictures in.
You can post in the interview room, I think.
No,
Should be able to. No?
I can't upload. I'll just upload it to.
Okay, go
Imager.
to upload to Imgur and just send the link, yeah.
It is Imager. It is pronounced Imager.
I always
sorry.
pronounced it Imgur. Man,
No,
you just fixed
The founder says it's Imager.
That's you posted a meme.
Yes, that is the context.
Okay, I'm gonna show it anyway because it's funny. Hold on. So, no, you cannot just flood the basement to get the suspects out. It will cost millions in damages and the house isn't even owned by him. Water going down, blub blub. Okay, okay, so you're saying it's unrealistic, unjustified, because it will cost millions in damages, literally. Okay. Blue Nutella, you said it was justified, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Well,
What makes it justified?
I don't know the meaning of justified, but I googled it. But like, s- as I understand, it's like reasonable meaning. So well, they can try to get them out, but as Nutter said, it can cost a lot of money just to flew them out and arrest, which is totally waste of money.
You're arguing for another side now. That's not how debate's supposed to work. You're supposed to argue for your side. You said it was justified at first, and I think you were leaning at the point that the suspect was dangerous, right? And you could
Yeah.
potentially save lives. So let's debate that. That the suspect was dangerous and you want to save lives, okay?
Mhm.
So make an argument. Just say the same thing you said the first time, when you said it was justified.
Uh, I was actually no mind fuck.
You actually don't know. Okay.
I
so
can bring another situation if you want.
Okay, I think Blontel, I think we've had enough time with you. Let's get somebody else. I'm gonna go speak to another individual who I have waiting right
Okay.
now. Thank you for coming this week. And
Yeah,
stay awesome, man. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
bro.
seeing, bro.
Alright, see you, man. Okay. Alright, so let me go ahead and speak to the other fella. This guy had been.
Sure.
Yeah, this guy wanted to debate for a while. Let's see if he will be able to participate. Alright, be right back. Hello, how are you doing? Hello. Mr. White.
Hello.
Hi, my friend. Okay, so, we have a topic of a discussion already. Apparently, in Red County Roleplay, there was a barricaded suspect and the basement got flooded, okay? He was in the basement and police intentionally flooded the basement to get him out. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I can barely hear what you're saying.
Sorry, mate.
Okay, there we go. Now I can properly hear. Okay. Do you agree with their decision?
Well, no, not really. Like, you know. It's a
Okay.
bit overpowering, I reckon.
Do you have any like? Do you see why they could come up with that decision at all?
Well, I reckon the people who they are getting, I reckon they are not RPers or something or whatever like that. So they're trying to make their RP a bit quicker than what it would be, if you get what I'm saying.
So you're saying that they just wanted to skip past the roleplay faster, and
Yeah.
that's why they flooded it?
Yeah. Because in my
Okay.
opinion, like that's not really
Well,
role
okay,
playing, is
well-
it? You know, have you ever heard officers fucking flooding stuff or whatever?
I don't. This is like the first time I hear about police flooding anything intentionally, but maybe it happens more commonly with you. I don't know.
I've been role playing for like 6 years, and I've never ever seen police flooding a bloody basement or whatever you call it. Like,
Yeah. Okay. But do you think you could take? Oh, here's another situation that we can look into, and he actually sent a. Let me just look at that other situation because I want to look at something. I want to see a situation that we can have a debate about, and you seem to be agreeing with the other party, so we can't really have a debate. He sent me a video, so I'm just gonna look at that video. Oh. Oh, that's a funny video. I like that video. Okay, Okay, hold on. Let me. You should have. I give you access to the interview room. Do you have access to the video? I'm gonna show it to the rest of the people, so that they know what we're talking about.
The interview room, yeah.
Yeah, go check the interview room. The last link that has been sent.
Alright.
Yeah. I'm gonna quickly check myself and show everybody what's going on. Okay, so these guys are on the chase, Red County roleplay, and there's a trooper shooting his tire, and because he shoots a tire, they both fly off the cliff and land in the water, destroying the car. That's a very humorous situation, but brings up a question, because somebody's property got destroyed because a trooper shot a tire. You know, we don't have the full context of the situation, it's important to know that, but what do you think about that situation? Do you think the police was justified in this situation to shoot? Do you think this was okay for them to do? Hello? I can't hear you right now. What is happening? We might be getting... Oh, he moved. Okay. Why'd you leave, man? We were having a discussion there.
Sorry, I pressed the wrong button.
Oh, okay, no problem. Okay, so you watched the video, right?
I watched it and I just found that absolutely hilarious.
Okay. We have a small problem that both of you seem to have the same exact response. There's not really a lot to debate about because...
Let me just say one thing though, right? Do you know, right? Just say if you were one of the officers chasing our car and I was driving that, and I jumped over the banking the way they did, surely that's gonna be like causing harm to themselves and stuff like that, innit? They're not just gonna get out the car and like swim away or whatever, are they? Do you know what I mean? I don't think that's realistic.
Well, we roleplayed the dead. We had to CK.
Wow.
Because,
You CK'd, you character killed. You killed your character from such a situation. That would be so frustrating in my end, because if there's like a debate whether or not it's justified or not of character level, and it causes my character to die, you can't really bring that back, can you?
yeah.
Or it's very difficult to do it on a bureaucratic level.
I couldn't afford it, so I kept in the end.
Wow. That's insane, in my opinion. Okay, so...
Yeah. I think it also helps to say that Osman Ali was a hostage in the situation.
Wait, so there was a hostage?
I was the hostage, Osman Ali. He was the hostage.
Oh my god. Hostage in the car. Police shoot tires. Car flies into the lake. That changes everything! I thought we were just debating like the condition of the car, which, you know, the player purchases and whatever. You know, shooting tires next to a lake while next to a bridge. I'm pretty sure that there's like LSRP has rules for. First of all, we don't even shoot tires. We don't ever shoot tires. But they have rules about basically like when they hit somebody, and they're not allowed to do it near bridges or cliffs. On the Red County roleplay, I guess they don't have that regulation, or maybe they just don't care. So okay, let's go back
that's
to.
where it comes in unrealistic, isn't it? Just think of it. If you were an officer, you don't really want to put their lives in danger, do you? And if you're shooting their tires next to a cliff, it possibly kill them. Like you said, CP. You know what I mean?
Okay, so we have Mr. White saying that this was unjustified. I don't think there's anybody saying it was justified. I think Nutter makes the same point, right?
Yes.
But do you see where they could feel like this could be justified at all?
Maybe they got bored. Because we were waiting for like 2 hours, maybe.
They were waiting for 2 hours and they got bored, and so your argument is like real life time, after a certain time they just should stop caring? Or Well, okay, we'll just pretend that that's your
Well,
argument.
yeah, that's what I can notice about it, because I would do the same to me. Right? If I was in a chase that long and it's just not working out, I'd be the type to just bloody ram them off the road. You know what I mean?
Okay, okay.
I'd just lose my head over that.
Okay, so let's do this. Nutter seems to... He brought up the argument that this is unjustified, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, we'll do it from his point of view that that's unjustified. Mr. White, you're saying that because it was so long of time, that it is justified pretty much, right?
Yeah.
After 2 hours, this was justified. Why?
Well, it's just like the whole point, isn't it? It's like a 2-hour chase. Nothing is happening at all, is it? So obviously everyone's just getting fed up of the chase and they're just trying to bloody end it there and there. Like,
Sorry, slight correction. It was actually 30 minutes, but I guess we can assume it was 2 hours for this debate.
Yes, let's assume that it was 2 hours for this debate. That doesn't matter at the end of the day, because we're just trying different debate formats. But yeah, okay, so let's just copy and paste that. So his argument is that this was justified because after 2 hours, you can come to the conclusion that nothing else will happen unless you escalate it, unless you try to shoot a tire. Do you have a counter argument, Nutter?
Sorry, what was that again?
So the argument that Mr. White makes is that this was justified because after 2 hours, we can safely presume that nothing else will happen unless they escalate the situation. Meaning that it would never end. So the choices were pretty much never resolve the situation or resolve it aggressively and risk the hostage, in which case it didn't pay off. Do you have a counter argument?
Yeah, SASP should be bringing the car to a hard stop. Maybe they should train their officers a bit better.
yeah.
That's not a counter argument. See, that's not a counter argument to. You have a very vague argument. Was what I'm saying. What you said is a conclusion. They should train their officers better. That doesn't tell us anything.
but
Okay.
let me-
Red County roleplay should be better. Yes, it should be, but that doesn't help us. You know what I mean? How do you come to that
Yeah, but
conclusion?
I
How do you
think-
come to the
right.
conclusion that they should be better? What made you think that? Let's, in the context
think-
of this situation.
I think the other person wanted to say something, but you cut him off. I'll let
Well,
him
well,
go
it's
first.
your turn to make a counter argument because he already made an
Alright.
argument. It's your turn to make a counter argument.
I actually think that SASB should try to bring the pursuit to a stop, but not heavy-handedly, because of the risk to civilians on a busy main road.
Risk to civilians to play. Okay, I guess we can accept that.
Yeah, but if you watch the video, right, they done it with that kind of force, but as you can see, there was no other vehicles or people around anyway.
Yes, fortunately.
Vehicles or pedestrians? That's a very good counter argument. What is your point? What do you have to say to that? There was no. So you made
Well,
the
it's nothing
comment.
about
There's
the
no. The risk to civilians is too great for this to be justified. But
Yeah.
Mr. White says there were no other vehicles or pedestrians. What do you?
But
What's
there-
your?
No, and they had the way it happened, they had a whole wider choice way to do it. They went under the bridge, and they got a massive field. Well, both sides are just covered with fields.
Okay, Mr. White, you already made a point. We'll go one by one. Okay. Let's just go one point at a time.
I guess we have to remember that there was a hostage in the car.
Hostage in the car.
Eventually, he
What?
died.
What counter argument do you have for that, Mr. White?
Well, don't. I agree with him in our way because of the hostage.
They were fully aware there was a hostage.
Yeah, well, yeah.
They were fully aware there was a hostage. What counter argument do you have for that, Mr. White?
Well, they obviously all they would have had to do instead of just.
Can you like move a little bit closer to the microphone a little bit?
Yeah, is that better?
Yes.
Yeah, well, I know they must know there was hostage in the car, but what they could have done to make the procedure better, just put road spikes down. And
Okay, you're making a point for them being unjustified. You're not allowed to do that. You're only allowed to make points for them being justified. Do you have any points for that?
not really, no.
I think
Okay.
Userone should go on the other side since he used to roleplay in the SASP.
Okay. Do we want to... Okay, let's restart this. Let's have Mr. White go on side of SASP in this case. And then we'll try it again, okay? Let's give it one more try, okay? I just want to
Okay.
have like a civil debate that comes to a conclusion. That's the entire point that I'm trying to get at.
Yes.
Okay. So, we're gonna switch you guys around. Mr. White goes over here. We can keep the arguments, I guess. Okay, so, Mr. White, you're saying that they could have used spike strips instead.
Yeah.
Could have used spike strips instead. Okay, awesome. Nato, what is your counter argument to that they could have used spike strips? You're on the side of
SASP, yes. Okay.
yeah.
So, at SASP, we do not have good drivers, so we don't use our heads much. We only follow suspects. We don't think ahead, so we cannot put spikes down.
We aren't intelligent. I'm not gonna say that because it's like insulting at this point. We aren't able. I'm just gonna say we aren't able to do much more than follow suspects because I'll just say we're not able to train well enough for that. I'll just say that. Okay, is that good enough?
That's no one else's. That's no one else's fault, is it? That's the police department's fault.
Okay. Okay.
Why would you
Hold on.
go out?
Well, okay. You know what? That's not really a counter argument because there's the resource. Okay, but now I'm making. See, I don't know when I'm supposed to intervene, when I'm not supposed to intervene. I think my problem with your counter argument that it's not their fault is a conclusion again. Why is it not their fault?
They had a job to do. They had to bring the pursuit to an end in a timely manner to prevent further harm to the public.
I feel like you're both kind of helping make points on both sides. Okay. Jesus, this is complicated. Making debates is complicated.
I guess it comes to the conclusion that we all think this situation is retarded, and SASP was totally in the wrong. You can't
Okay.
justify the actions.
Okay, well, I mean, I kind of agree with you. It was silly. But, okay, let's change the subject, though. Did anything happen from this? Did anybody get held accountable for this?
We actually tried to roleplay a court case, my IC family, but the Red County Roleplay Administration team threw that out.
Wow.
SASP refused to roleplay.
Wait, is that why they threw it out? Because SASP refused to roleplay?
Yes,
And
because
that's why
they didn't want to roleplay some NPCs.
Okay, can you show me the court case?
Unfortunately, I cannot access the RCRP forum. Just search up Usman Ali.
Where do I
On
search that
RCRP.
up? Can you
In the court.
post what I need to search up in the interview room? I'm gonna have a quick look and maybe we'll be able to have a different kind of debate. Debate about whether you're allowed to NPC a family to sue somebody else. Because that is a more like... Because we can all agree that this situation was silly and that they shouldn't have done this. But the fact that they are not being held accountable at all in any way, in character-wise or out of character-wise, is kind of silly in my opinion. Because
Yes, it went all the way to management as well.
a civilian, yeah, a civilian is gonna be held accountable for something like this, regardless. And they're gonna NPC whatever they want. They always NPC coroners. You can't refuse to NPC coroners. There's so many arguments that we can make here, and I think that would actually be an interesting, or at least kind of try to be an interesting debate. So, okay, did you post what I need to look for in the interview room?
So basically, we kind of
Oh, you found
use
it.
this loophole in the rules to try and push this case through because it was at the time it was unacceptable that SASP could get away with this. So
Well, they did get away in the end, haven't they?
yeah,
Okay, so let me just have a quick look through it. Because I'm really invested in the court cases and role-playing court cases, because this is... it's all about holding accountability. I usually see police always get away with all kinds of corruption. Meanwhile, innocent people get arrested all the time. And, it's really difficult to role-play legal characters because of that. Anyway, let's just have a quick look. So we got Fatima Ali versus Sandra State Department, 12 January 2020. Plaintiff descendant was in a vehicle being pursued, riding a vehicle as an Uber passenger. Driver decided to flee from the police and left Ali stuck in the rear of the vehicle. Then, but basically police were negligently opened fire. Wait, was there any fire? Was there any gunfire at all up until that point?
no, just
Was
the
there any weapons from the suspect?
Nope, just a pursuit.
So, this isn't Russia. This isn't Latvia. Why are they opening fire on just a fleeing vehicle? I'm sorry.
Roleplay. Anything.
Do they know they're in America? Like in Latvia, in Russia, yes. When a vehicle flees, they have a tight budget on their cars. I heard some police departments in Russia, they use their personal cars. They just recolor them. I'm not even joking. The government does not issue them cars. So guess what? They're not going to be pitting vehicles. They're going to be shooting them from Makarovs. I have this assembled one here. They're going to be like, pew, pew. Stop the vehicle, open fire. If you watch Russian dash cam videos, you always see police do that. They don't. They have different strategies. Yeah, the police officers yeah, that's what they do in Russia, in Latvia, and in Eastern European countries. They don't fucking. In America, they don't open fire. They don't do warning shots in America. That's not a thing in America. If you're opening fire, then there's a threat to life. The only threat to life that was there was from the SCSP, because they opened fire on a fucking vehicle with a hostage that was not posing an imminent threat. That's it. And they got away with it. Of course they fucking got away with this. This is pissing me off. This is genuinely pissing me off. Okay. Let me have a look at the court case real quick. Okay, 12 January, yes, they negligently, and I absolutely agree, negligently opened fire on a vehicle that did not open fire back, that wasn't posing an imminent threat, with a hostage in the back. It's just, okay. So at first I can see that they actually took... Okay, so first you already ran into trouble because you made up an NPC, a non-player character, who was the father of the person. I bet if you just name changed to Fatima Ali, you would have probably been able to make the case, because then the character would have existed.
Yeah, maybe.
You should have done that. But okay, does not exist, character. Only characters which exist may be plaintiffs or defendants. Exists now, so it does exist now.
No, so that post there from Limitless, that came after he made this rule that I've linked in the interview room.
Let me have a look. Added rule 7. Real characters. Only characters which exist on a server may be plaintiffs or defendants. I like LSRP a lot because they make specific rules. LSRP doesn't do that. LSRP is like, oh, it should all be common sense. You can't NPC characters. No, common sense is not common. But whatever. The point is, okay, so he made that rule after that first announcement, which is interesting. But I mean, do you think he shouldn't be allowed to do that?
I mean, SASP cry about them getting bashed on the criticism thread. They say we should take it IC. We try to take it IC, and we get dealt with this.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Oh my god. Okay, I'm getting pissed off. I shouldn't be getting pissed off over a video game, but this has been happening for years, and the thing that pisses me off is the hypocrisy, the double standard. Because try holding a cop accountable. That's impossible. Try holding a citizen accountable. Oh, you don't even need evidence. You don't even need physical evidence. You could just accuse some innocent person of murder and put them in prison, which was what happened to my character in the past. Thankfully, I was able to appeal that, but still, it's ridiculous. I absolutely agree that this is ridiculous, and this is limiting roleplay, in my opinion. This is affecting, like, the story that you can do, because pretty much every time you have the upper hand, they go out of character, don't they?
Yep.
Exactly. Let's focus more on the subject, because otherwise we're never gonna move on.
Can you view this image quickly, or just leave it on stream?
What do you want me to leave on screen?
This image I've just posted in the interview room.
I just want to look at it first. Taken too soon by the people that are supposed to protect him. You know what? You just gave me like motivation to like. This is a great motivator for protests and stuff. Is it actually modeled in game?
It was, yeah, it actually came out as a mod, and then
Did they add it into SRP?
no,
Aww.
you don't get that happening.
Well, anyway, we can roleplay like it has, so whatever. Let's go back to the topic at hand, though. We diverted enough, we've ranted enough. So what's interesting is that he just added a rule after you submitted the trial court. So it came out that you submitted it at January 20th, 6 p.m. and the rule was added 11 p.m. So it's 5 hours after that the court submission. But he didn't. The one thing I want to say is that he didn't deny your thing, because you know, on SRP what would happen is you would get banned for breaking that rule first, and then you would stay banned. So they didn't do that here. So at least that's good. And they did at first at least go forward. Yeah. Mr. Ali, if available. So how did you get the character? Did you name change to the character?
No, my friend wanted to roleplay my daughter and start the protest movement.
Ah, okay. Alright, I like this. So they started, right? Then what happened? Can you describe what happened?
SASP were notified. Once they got the notification, they started crying to admins.
And then admins said this. This case was discussed among some of the admin team the other day who all agreed this is a case of mixing metagaming?
But yet, you can roleplay having daughters and children.
Yes,
in
you
the
can.
Stan News
Of course you.
articles.
Why wouldn't you? Most people have families. Ah!
Well,
My head!
my brother's autistic.
My head hurts. What? How is this mixing metagaming? How in the hell?
Is RCRP for you? I don't like the server, that's why I left.
Okay, Earl stated the following. The character posting the lawsuit should be an active character with actual in-character involvement. That's so vague! That is so vague! What does that mean? This character exists! Also, the rules don't say that it has to be a character with active involvement. It says the character has to be real. And as far as I understand, the character is now real, right? Or was real at the time of the...
Yep, still have other children.
This pisses me off because they're taking something that is in character, should be in character, but they're taking it out of character. But they never do that whenever whenever you make a mistake. You can't go out of character, you have to prove that you should go out of character. Admins will never debate for your sake, they will only debate for the sake of SASP, which kind of pisses me off, because I actually was in SASP as well. I respect a lot of people in SASP, but just the system that governs the whole thing, it's bullshit. This should have came through. Why are people not allowed to roleplay family members? That is nonsense. Okay, let's have a debate though. Let's have a debate. Let's try to. This is supposed to be a place where we have debates, so not just me ranting. Okay. Right. Who wants to take the side of, the admin side in this case?
What, saying is that you shouldn't be doing it?
Yeah, that this case should be voided.
I don't do it.
I don't think you do if you want it.
No,
Okay.
I think we've just determined that you can't debate about things.
Yeah, you
on
can't debate
RCRP.
about things when both parties agree on the subject. We need somebody who is actually like that's my fault because I didn't prepare the debate subject beforehand, and because of that we don't have people from both parties. So what I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna go on the other side. I'm gonna take their side, even though this is probably gonna. I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna do my best to try to argue the point of because I've had a lot of interaction with admins, so I have a feeling that I might be able to do this okay-ish. So, right. So we're just gonna put you guys over here, and I'm gonna be over here. Okay. So I mean I don't agree with this at all. I don't like this. I hate this actually. I hate the fact that it went out of character-wise. It should not have went out of character-wise, but just for the sake of this debate, we're gonna try and debate and see what's happening. So, okay, let's. I'm gonna try to come up with something. Okay, so let's again look at the situation. So your character. So now we're not debating about whether the SASP was justified or not, because we all came to the conclusion that they weren't. What we're debating about is whether or not this case should have been denied. So, okay, make your argument why this case shouldn't have been denied.
It would have been interesting case law for law enforcement on RCRP. That's what I think. It would have been a great way to set standards.
Okay, well, you guys will take turns, so Nata was this time. Mr. White, you'll make the next argument, okay? Okay, because it would make an interesting case law for future judgments. Okay.
Yeah,
So
but the thing
I just need to argue against your points. I don't need to just debate everything. I just need to focus specifically on counter-arguing your points, which should make it easier for me to take their side even though I disagree with them. Justified, okay. Taking IC matters or C. Okay. And then I'm gonna add the full context. Player appease family members suing police. Admin's void situation. Admin's void court case, not the entire situation. Okay. Okay. All right. So my counter argument. So your argument is because it wouldn't make it shouldn't have been denied because it would have made an interesting case law for future judgments. Okay. My argument is that it should have been denied because so your argument again, because it wouldn't make an interesting case law for future judgments, because that's irrelevant. That's irrelevant to whether or not mixing IC or C is involved. It's still I'm gonna put quotes allegedly rule breaking because I don't actually agree with that, but technically it's a valid argument. Okay, so Mr. White, my counter argument is that it's irrelevant whether it would make an interesting case law for future judgments because it's still allegedly rule breaking. It's still mixing in character-wise and not character-wise. What's your counter argument to that?
Well, if they're role playing as family members, that's obviously IC. There's nothing to do with OOC, is it? It's role playing at the end of the day. If that character is physically in the game, then is IC. There's nothing OOC about it. Do you know what I mean? That's hence the word role play.
Okay.
You know?
Should be taken IC. So, role-playing family members is allowed, character exists, and should be taken IC is your argument, okay? Yep. Am I understanding correctly? Okay. Now, if we look back at the statement made by the admins. I'm just gonna copy what he said. I don't agree with it, but I'm just gonna copy it so that we can have a counter argument, because we already have a counter argument to this. So, where's even my OBS? There it is. Okay. Alright, so the counter argument is Fatima was created after the court case was started, which leads us to believe the information was provided other character-wise was taken in character-wise. Okay. Okay, so the character was created after the case started, so that's what makes it out of character-wise. That's their argument.
Yeah, but...
Okay, hold on.
Say something.
Okay, yeah, so Mr. White was the last one. Nutter, it's your turn to make a counter-argument to that.
No, I'll let Mr. White go first because I have to get my door very quickly. On we log.
Right. But what do you think, right?
Okay.
He said it happened after the court case, yeah? But obviously the family members would have had a message about what have happened. Yeah? So obviously they got into contact to the court to, you know, sue or whatever they're doing. The family members are gonna know, and then they're gonna get in contact with it, because that's
Okay.
just what would happen in real life.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, that's a good argument. So your argument is that the family members would have been notified that that has happened.
Yeah. If they
Okay.
were notified, like just say if nobody would notify them, then yeah, I would understand. But in real life, you will be notified.
Yeah, in real life?
That's why-
Okay. Okay, so I need to make a counter argument to that. It's difficult for me. Okay, you make a very good point. Okay, let me think. I'm gonna make an argument that because it wasn't roleplayed, because notifying them wasn't roleplayed, it didn't happen. That's gonna be my counter argument. Do you have anything to say about that?
Well, by the state of it, what have happened, like EMS or whatever, or the couriers would have had it. They would have obviously when they picked the body. It was what's the difference between them role playing the family members and couriers? Couriers in there, are they?
The coroners,
They are
you
being-
mean?
Yeah, they are being role played.
Okay, so you're saying because they can NPC coroners,
yeah,
you should be able to NPC family members getting notified.
yeah,
Okay,
because
okay.
it's not they are not physically in the game, are they? So
Because
realistically, they would have
coroners can be NPC'd, notifying family members should be NPC'd too. Okay, that's a good counter argument. Alright, so I need to make a counter argument for that. I guess I'll make a counter argument that you can refuse to NPC coroners. I believe you can.
obviously if all parties.
Hold on, let me finish my counter argument. Then and therefore police should be able to refuse NPC family members. Okay. So that's gonna be my counter argument. What do you have to say to that specific counter argument? Because we can refuse to NPC coroners, police can refuse to NPC family members.
But nobody refused though, did they? So there's no
The
one
police refused. They refused they complained to the admins. That means they refused to roleplay family members.
They actually did the NPC storm back, but they did the NPC. FT eventually came along and transported our bodies to hospital.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back a couple of steps. Let's get rid of the coroners argument because it's mute. Because EMS, you don't have to NPC coroners because EMS had taken the bodies, right?
Yeah, and that's what happens when you accept death, though. You get transported to hospital.
Yeah, so we can take away the arguments about coroners because there were no coroners and being NPCs at all. Okay, so let's go back to... Because notifying because the family members did not get notified in game, it didn't happen. That's the argument that we're sticking with right now. Nato, do you have a rebuttal to that argument?
No, except this meme. For court cases, you have to notify people over the forum and not in game.
Okay, so, okay, for court cases, people are notified over forum and not in game. Okay, okay.
And to be fair, the associates of the McBean's crime family did notify my children of my death.
So you're saying
Faction.
somebody did get notified? Okay, do you have evidence of that though?
No, this was in January, unfortunately.
Well, okay, but okay. See, you can't argue a point that you can't prove. That's the thing. Yeah, you can argue. That's the most frustrating thing, because guess what? From an admin side, from police side, they don't have to provide any physical evidence ever.
Yeah.
They don't need to prove anything. They could just say you did something. That's enough. They can
Okay,
all
so
play having physical evidence. They don't need to actually have physical evidence.
So this is realistic of a RCRP admin complaint.
Yes,
You're
we
the admin, you're not
want to
providing
come to a solid conclusion in this debate, and you know, we're not gonna take. Here's the thing, right? On Red County Roleplay, Red County Roleplay will take a word of any admin and any police officer. They will hold the value of an admin word more, but they will hold the value of a police officer's word more than of a civilian. Civilian will pretty much have to always provide physical evidence if they're challenged at any point. Okay? So they're pretty much expecting you to record 24/7 if you're a civilian, but not if you're an admin or a police officer. Because of that, you know, they on that platform you won't have a civil debate like this. But here, if you want to make a statement, you need evidence, right? And if you're challenged, regardless of who you are, even if you're an admin with Roleplay Union, it doesn't matter. Like, I've been punished on Roleplay Union. I received a formal warning for harassing somebody because I got a little heated during an interview. And that's the entire point of Roleplay Union. We treat everybody equally. Admins, the rules are for everyone, including admins. If you look at the rules document that we have posted, we will revamp it tomorrow. But if you look at it, there are rules for specifically staff as well. So you can report staff, and you report staff exactly like you report, members. Okay, but let's go back to the case at hand. For court cases, people are notified in game or form and not in game. So I need to make a counter argument to that. Okay. Okay. I mean. But nobody was notified. The family wasn't notified over form either. That's my counter argument, because as far as we know, that's the truth, right? Because we don't have physical evidence to dispute that.
Yeah.
Alright, do you have a counter argument to this?
Would the family have been role-played, like, living around Los Santos, or?
Yes, we all had a house.
Yeah, right. So if they were there, if the court case was announced via, like, Gov or whatever, where it was announced across the server, like on the news or whatever, on the radio, the family members are bound to hear it anyway.
Okay, so
They
that's
wouldn't
your...
notice their dad not home anyway.
So what are you sticking with? Are you saying that the court case would have been announced, or the family would notice that the father wouldn't come home?
Well,
You can only make one argument at a time.
yeah, the family would have been announced.
The family would notice the court case is your argument, okay.
Yeah.
The family would have noticed the court case. Okay, here's my rebuttal to that. I actually have one that I actually agree with, even though I don't necessarily agree with the case in general.
Only because, do you know?
Hold on,
like
let me
court
just make a
case-
rebuttal real quick. If the family wouldn't receive an announcement, hold on, receive is spelled differently, announcement, because because if they're not notified, there's no court case. Got you there. On the technicality.
Yeah, but like I say, right, with a court case, like in real life, for instance, if your family member died, they would have to send a letter to you to announce that you have got a court case on this date, whatever, like. So any way around it, they would have been noticed anyway.
So you're saying that they would be notified of the court case? Because again, my argument to that is that if they're not notified, like, they would have to file the court case first. And if they're not notified about the situation, then they won't file a court case. That's the point of my counter argument.
Yeah, true, fair point. But they would have noticed Osman not being home.
Okay, they would have noticed the father not being home. They would have noticed father missing. Just say that. Oh my god, this text is getting smaller and smaller. Guys, can you still read the text? I guess you can, yeah. Oh my god. Alright, I'm actually impressed that we have almost 30 people watching this boring stuff.
It's because I'm here, that's why.
Okay, right. So, you're saying that they would have noticed the father missing. My counter argument is that they didn't because they weren't. See, that's the thing. You don't have. They always require you to make evidence yourself, which is really annoying. But okay, that's the argument you can make. That's the argument you can make that this is unfair. That's like me giving you a little wink, little tip. But yeah, they didn't because they weren't the real characters. That's my counter argument. Because that's pretty much what they're saying, right?
Same as Korea.
Okay, so I think at this point we're getting into circles because some of the arguments are starting to seem similar. Like, for example, they didn't because they weren't the real characters is the same argument as Fatima was created after the court case was started. Sorry, I can't really hear what you're saying because you're a little quiet.
said we're just going around in circles.
Yeah, that's the problem. So at this point, we reached a stalemate. Usually there's a judge. See, that's what I was trying to be when I invited both of you. I tried to be the judge, but because both of you have the same point of view, I tried to take the other point of view. Now we don't have the judge. So now that we reached the stalemate...
I think we should let chat decide.
Yeah, guys, let's... That is genius! Okay, you're so good. You're so
I think I should
smart.
host use the one. Talk.
Okay, here's what we're doing, okay? Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna create a poll. I'm gonna create an online poll. And you guys are gonna have to look at all the arguments. The chat is the jury! Of course! Oh my god! Yes! We actually have a jury! So this is actually more justified than any court case in any roleplay server so far. Because I haven't ever seen a jury in any roleplay server before. Except maybe Second Life. Okay, link will appear here.
There's no trolls doing it.
There will probably be trolls. There's like no... I mean, think about it. There's probably trolls in the real jury, right? Not that much, but there's probably at least some. Poll online. Okay, here we go. Right. Why does it bring me to Yahoo? Oh my god, I disabled Yahoo from... Oh my god. Why is Yahoo one of the default search engines on Chrome? Create a poll. I obviously want Google, not Yahoo. Jesus Christ. Straw poll. There you go. Okay. Which side are you on? Admins of RCRP were justified in voiding the case. The case should have stayed. I see. And I think that's it. Okay. Cool. Create poll. Let's see what happens. We even have IP duplication checking. We're really advanced here. Okay. Alright, let's create this poll. Let's have a look at it, and I'm gonna send the link. There we go. So there's the link, and I'm gonna post it in the chat as well. Why can't I post it in the chat, man? Oh, this is not the right stream. My bad. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna paste the link 3 times so that you guys can go and vote. We actually have 27 people watching at this time, which is weird. Okay. Right. So let's see. Alright. Where's my gavel? I'm gonna use the gun as my gavel. For
So
the
use one,
case, for the case of what was his name?
Well, Usman Ali.
Ali. For the case of Fatima Ali versus San Andreas State Police, the jury will now commence with their decision. And let's watch as the jury makes the decision. This is fun. I like this. We're shaping a new format. Okay. So far, 7 votes in favor of keeping the case in character-wise, 2 votes saying that the case should have been voided. Okay. Okay, this is interesting. So how long should we keep the poll up for?
Well, since we're in front, you might as well stop in.
Wow. Oh, this is interesting. I mean, I don't know if people are answering honestly. There's just like no way to check that. But I mean, that's technically how jury works in the general, isn't it?
You know what it is, though, don't you? It's because you're on the admin side.
You're saying it's favoritism?
Yeah.
I have the same feeling, but here's the thing.
Only
If we
because-
just say it's favoritism, they're gonna point at us and say, they just
No,
can't
we're role-play
lose,
to
right?
win.
They just
Role-play to
can't take the L. You know what I mean? That's their argument. That's the counter argument that's gonna be. They just can't take the L. We have to make specific arguments. We have to compile evidence, because it's on us to compile evidence. They'll just say whatever they want and throw us off the bus. That's why I made All-Play Union, so that we can compile evidence, so that we can come to a conclusion. And right now, we have a straw poll, a unanimous decision, democracy. Now this is gonna be based on something, you know what I mean? This is not just based off speculation anymore. This is based off of people's opinions. Which is, honestly, I think that's more valid than anything we've had so far. Maybe we'll be able to learn something from this. So let's go have a look one more time. Oh my god, guys. The decision is 50-50.
What?
Yeah, it's 50-50 right now. 8 votes in favor, 8 against. The jury has reached a verdict, and it's a
It's
stalemate.
not unanimous. So
It's not unanimous, but because you were bringing a case against the admins here, because the jury they deadlocked on the case, typically that means the case gets thrown out. So, not guilty. The admins are not guilty. Don't you love democracy, my friend?
They already say that so they don't get banned.
Oh my god. Well, next time. Okay, so the lessons I think we should take from this is next time you have a character prepared from the family if you want to sue from the family. Okay?
oh, look, no, it's increasing now. Admins have 1. Yeah, fair enough. Admins have 1.
Yeah, admins have 1. It's just people who aren't aware of the case. Maybe it's trolls, but it doesn't matter overall, right? Because in real democracy, what happens? Uninformed people, can they still vote? Of course they can still vote. Of course they can. Uninformed people can still vote, so by the rules of democracy, the majority wins. Even if the majority of people is stupid. I'm not saying they are. I'm just saying even if they are stupid, they still win. So
Yeah, fair enough.
thank you both for this fantastic debate. Do you think you have any conclusions from this? Would you do if this was to happen again? Would you do anything differently?
I would, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe
so-
play on LSRP instead.
Do you think the quad system in LSRP is better?
I don't know. I've never played it.
To me, in my opinion,
I mean,
LSRP
kind of. I
is
mean,
what it is.
I got a restraining order. That's all I.
yeah,
the only
yeah,
court
you
case I won on LSRP
I've
was
heard
I
about
got
that.
a restraining order against.
Rest in peace, Ryan Page.
Yeah, a convicted rapist of my fucking character. Finally got a restraining order after a year of being stalked and fucking raped. It's I can't even. It's just amazing. I should make a video about that.
Rip.
It's not gonna stop Rampage probably. But anyway, look, let's go on. We have. I'm gonna keep this going for 1 more hour, but I want to get more people through here, more than just 3 people. Okay, I want to give more people a chance. Maybe we'll be able to have more people to debate a topic. Okay, so I'm
Yes.
just gonna reset everything. Debate
Yes,
format.
it's been great, User One. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. Okay.
Yes.
You're
An
welcome.
hard
You're welcome.
person to get hold of.
Okay. So I'm glad that we're creating this new format where we actually have coming to conclusions, or like somewhat of conclusions, and we are beginning to see resemblance of a debate, which is nice. Even though we don't necessarily agree with both sides, we can still have a civil debate, and that's what creates progress, in my opinion. So. Thank you again, both of you, for coming, and stay awesome. Okay?
Yeah,
You're
thank
welcome. Bye bye.
you. Cheers.
Bye, man. Okay. Alright, let's get more people in here. Let's get more, see if anybody else is waiting for interview. I gotta say, like, honestly, I'm getting a lot more confident with these kind of debates, because now we have somewhat of a structure. I'm trying to be this judge, and if I can't be a judge, I take the side that nobody wants to take. But, you know, we'll get there eventually. We will have... the point is that we're pointing out issues at hand. We're able to discuss issues, because otherwise, there's just no place to discuss them. You can try going on the forums, but eventually what's going to happen, admins are just going to say, we talked over admins, we found no wrongdoings among ourselves. That's not going to get anywhere. So it's good to have like this third party where you can go and have a discussion about whether this is okay or not. Now, of course, the poll, it didn't go in favor of the people or me even. It says admins are supposed to be justified in voiding the case, but I mean that's how democracy works. That's totally fine by me. Alright, let's see if we have any more people willing to be interviewed. Not right now, actually. Okay. Is it open? It's open. Okay, so you should be able to join waiting for interview if you want. We might just end early, to be honest. I'm getting, like, sweaty at this point. It's been getting a lot hotter recently. I mean, it is late April. But that being said, in the mid of April, we had snow. You could check my Instagram. We had snow. And now it's like getting hot at the evening at 8 p.m. It's weird. Okay. But yeah, rest in peace, Usman Ali, the poor victim of SCSP. It's nice. We can use that in character voice because I mean that it was a court case. I mean, was it a voided court case? I'll have to figure that out later. I'll have to talk with admins. Have to figure all that out because. You know, they'll probably ban me at the first excuse. That's usually how it happens. Okay, we don't have anybody else yet. I can, of course, try make a quick announcement. Here, looking for 2 people with opposing points of view for a quick debate on Userone Talks. See if anybody is interested. Join the waiting for interview if interested. So I want to quickly read the comments, see what you guys think. Oh my god, my phone was not charging this whole time. It was playing my stream. How is it not dead yet? Okay, that was lucky. What is happening? It's just weird. It's just acting weird all over the place. I love my thumbnail. I love the thumbnail I made for this. Okay, let's read some comments. That's good. In the Russian community, everything is decided by the Denon. I assume they mean like the judge. Okay, cool. He's saying he's hot like he's not just sitting in his room wearing a full suit. I'm not wearing a full suit. I don't have any pants on. I'm not gonna stand up. Just take my word for it. Why would I wear pants if you can't see below me? Like, whenever you see like newscasts, sitting with just like the top and you don't see below their waist, they don't have pants on because they don't need to have pants on unless they have somebody else there, in which case they might wear like jeans or shorts or something just to be respectful to that other person. But typically, newscast, no pants. I just want to watch a couple of those. Like, I found one. Here's one.
For the latest on what
That laugh is so contagious. I love it. How did it look? It looked like... Why would I wear pants right now? I'm hot in just the suit. And this shirt, okay, I'm just gonna show you. This shirt is sleeveless, okay? So I'm still hot. I'm still hot despite all that. But I have to wear this jacket to maintain brand image. You have no idea how important brand image is. I spent 2 years in business school. They all talk about how important brand image is. Oh my god. I guess I'm not really helping my brand image by showing you that I'm not wearing pants. Oh my god. I keep getting the same question. Red County Roleplay versus LSRP. It's your preference thing. They're different servers. One is not explicitly better than the other. It's all a preference thing. They both have huge flaws, trust me. Okay, let's see if anybody's in waiting for it. We got one in waiting for interview, okay. Alright, let's see what we got, okay. Deputy Thompson, how you doing, my man?
What up, gamer? I'm doing just fine.
Okay, so today we are doing a little bit of an experiment. I'm gonna not be debating you, I'm gonna try to avoid debating you if we can find somebody else. We did find somebody else, awesome. We're gonna try to find an argument which you can debate with somebody, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, so do you, like, have you watched the stream so far?
A little bit, yes.
Yeah, we argued a little bit about a case where there was a, I believe, what was it? Basically, SASP from Red County Roleplay, they shot at a vehicle with a hostage. They shot a tire, caused the vehicle to fly off a cliff into water, and both the hostage and the suspect died because of that. So do you play Red County Roleplay at all?
I used to. I moved on to LSRP.
Okay. Were you in SASP or any law enforcement faction?
Not really law enforcement. I joined the fire department there. In the
Okay.
fire later on.
Okay, so what perspective do you have on that situation? Do you think the police were just... okay, let's actually move on, because let's move on to
The only thing that I'll say to this situation is that if there was some reasonable danger to the victim, such as if you can see in real-life situations in where there is a barricaded suspect with a hostage,
Yeah.
if the officers believe that there's a certain kind of immediate danger to the person, that they can enter the building and use lethal force against the suspect if it's necessary at that time, meaning that if in certain circumstances in which the danger of using lethal force against the vehicle is less than the suspect continuing to run away from the police, then I see the point of it.
Okay.
And unfortunately, they, I believe, selected the incorrect location on where to do it, as they should have maybe selected a location where they can use the lethal force against the suspect's vehicle, somewhere where there's not a chance that the vehicle can fly off a cliff.
Okay, I'm just gonna play the video of the incident one more time for those who have not seen it. It should be in the interview room. You should have access to it.
Where's the interview room?
It's
Oh, I see
it's
it.
the
There we
yeah. After I got another situation, if you want, there's a streamable link, and I'm just gonna play it for the people so that they can see it again. For those who have not seen it, so
Wait, where's the
you're
video?
willing the streamable link in the interview room.
Ah, there we
Yeah.
go.
So you are willing to take, at least in part, take the side of the SASP in this case, that they were justified, right?
Let me watch the video real
Okay.
fast.
Yeah, sure. It's a short video. So the person in the back seat was allegedly a hostage who died because of this.
Yeah, in a way, I would take the part of the SASP, but I do not agree on the location in which they to shoot the suspect tires
Okay.
out.
But
And I
you
unfortunately-
agree that they were justified in the shooting.
I do not know the circumstances, so I
Okay.
do not know the circumstances of how long the pursuit was going on for. What was the circumstances of the person driving away? Was he driving aggressively? Was there a chance that the person was armed and was currently posing imminent danger
Okay.
to the hostage in the
But
back
for
seat? Has there been any-
anything, we can you can safely assume like anything you want up until that point. But for the sake of the debate, I want you to just argue for SASP in this case, okay? Because I want to try out this role of a judge. I don't want to participate directly in the debate. I just want to overwatch it and come to a conclusion and just like host it, you know what I mean?
Okay.
So I'm gonna go quickly talk to the other person in the waiting room right now. Oh, they left. Okay. God damn it. Might have to take a roll again. Okay. So, okay, fine. Since there's nobody else, would you rather take the role of for SASP or against SASP?
I mean, I do not know the circumstances. So I'm somewhere in the middle. So you choose. I really don't mind either of those.
Okay, well, let's have you take the role for SASP in this case. Okay. I really don't like that I have to do this again with me being on this side. But I guess, you know, there's not much we can do about that. Oh my god. I guess we can reopen the straw poll. Wasn't really... I'll just put myself there. Okay. Okay, hold on, I'm just assembling a little bit. Your name is very long. Okay. Okay, we're good. So the straw poll, I'm just gonna put the straw poll link up again so that people can continue voting if they want to. That's okay by me. I'm actually gonna paste it again in the chat. Oh, sorry, I should fix that. That's the responses. I want them to be able to vote, not to just see the responses. Okay. There we go. Put myself up a little bit. Okay. Okay, so we'll get rid of all of the arguments that have been made so far. And we'll start anew, okay? We'll
Sure.
start fresh so that we can have like a fresh debate about the same... Well, not the same. Before we were arguing more about you know, avoiding the court case. Right now we're arguing about whether this was justified at all. So... And the hostage dies. Okay. So again, you're not allowed to make any arguments in my favor. You only make arguments for SASP's action. You're justifying that SASP were correct. Okay? Just for the sake of the debate. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, this is gonna be interesting. Alright, let's try this out. So, why do you think they were justified?
I believe they were justified because, as from the information that I've received, the pursuit was going on for a decent amount of time. At this time, I believe someone said around 2 hours.
Yeah.
And I believe they've also tried everything that they
Okay, hold on. Before you
possibly
continue,
could.
the pursuit was going on for a long time, but what does that mean? How does that
Well,
justify the
well-
shooting?
Well, there's something called the use of force continuum. which basically, if you Google it up, it has different levels of force from 1 to 5 generally. And the way on how it works is that if one use of force is applied and it doesn't work, then the officer can go to the next one if certain circumstances subject it to be moved to the next. And if the person has been going on for the amount for this long, and they've basically tried everything possible that they can to stop the vehicle, then the use of force against the vehicle, not the occupants of the vehicle inside, could be used.
Okay, so I found an image for use of force continuum. I'm gonna post it in the interview room. You let me know if you agree that that's what you meant or not.
Yes, theoretically, yes, it can be the same thing. In which, of course, the use of force continuum works on a way in which you should be basically moving on from one to one. But of course, if you arrive on a situation and someone points a gun on you, you're not gonna, I don't know, try and tackle him.
So you're saying they went from alternative to firearms to deadly force because the situation was just escalating for so long. Yeah.
I would say that they tried everything that they could at this time.
Okay.
The presence was always there. Communication, they of course basically told them to stop. They were communicating with them. They couldn't use soft or hard physics control.
Yep.
Because you can't really punch someone if they're driving a vehicle. And the alternative to firearms, as said before here, SASP don't train with the use of spike strips for some reason. I don't know why. So the use of deadly force was the only thing left they could possibly do other than follow the person for the next 2 hours.
Okay. So that's the argument that you're going with. They did not have alternatives.
Well, of course, theoretically, for the only alternative could be doing a PIT maneuver, but the outcome of the PIT maneuver will be still the same, in which the person would end up.
So again, yeah, we come to the
basically.
same conclusion that there are no alternatives. That's what we're focusing on. We need to find conclusions, but we need those conclusions to have foundation. We can't just have conclusions and use conclusions to debate. They need to be founded. According to, you used force continuum, you cited the force continuum, which is a real thing, and we researched what it was, and you've explained it clearly, which is fantastic. So now I make a counter argument that sorry, hold on, I just need to adjust the text a little bit. Police were justified is your position, or at least like that's what we're going with. Police were justified, and my position is that police were not justified. Police were justified. And my counter argument that they used all available actions and this was the only way they could de-escalate it. My point would be, if they had no other choices, they should have backed out of the pursuit if there aren't alternatives.
Okay, let me
just finish it. Okay, put hostage at risk. Okay, now you can make your counter argument to my counter argument. That's how we're gonna go. Okay.
So the counter argument to that is, if they back out of the pursuit, they now do not have control over the situation, and they do not know what happens to the subject. As same, you could say that if they do not use the deadly force, someone else could have gotten hurt because the person was driving erratically, meaning that a traffic collision could have happened in which someone who had no kind of contact or no kind of even recollect or wasn't involved in the situation could have gotten hurt.
Yeah.
Same with if they just let the pursuit go while there was a hostage inside the vehicle, they now do not have control over the situation, and they cannot regulate on what happens to the person that is involved with the situation as the hostage. Thus, now the person could stop behind the corner and execute the hostage because they know the police are going to be looking for him with the hostage.
Okay. Let's quickly go to the straw poll. I'm going to post it for you in the interview room. So this is the straw poll for this situation. Okay, well, not exactly this situation. I guess you should make a new straw poll to be honest, because this is a slightly different argument. So I'm gonna create a new poll actually. Yeah. We're gonna be arguing for. You know what? Let's finish the arguments first, and then we'll create a different straw poll. Okay. So basically, your counter argument is that they lose control of the situation if they back out, and if the person poses a threat to public, they're justified to use legal deadly force, which is true.
Yes, as stated in the Senate, as stated in the United States case law.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with
poses-
that. Yeah, I know about that case law. Basically, if a police officer genuinely believes that a person is posing a deadly threat to public, they're allowed to shoot them in the back if they're escaping.
Yes.
Pretty much. Okay. So this is an interesting. You bring up very good arguments where I didn't expect you to be able to do that, and because the last debate we had, nobody was able to bring up. Okay, now I kind of want to bring them back in just so that we can have a debate and I could be like the third party. Oh my god. Okay, this is why you gotta prepare for that. Okay, next time I'm gonna announce like the point of like the debate up ahead, so we can have like two parties debating it. Okay, right. So your argument is that they can leave. They would basically, the suspect would kill somebody else if they let them leave. Okay, so my argument is that they could have mitigated the risk by not opening fire at the tires near a cliff. So that's my counter argument.
Now the problem with this is that I agree with you.
Okay, let me make a different counter argument then. Yeah, okay, let me make a different counter argument. Right, let me think. I had something. So, if they leave, they pose a deadly threat. That is a case law. Okay. I think I had something. Hold on. Let me look again. Let me look at the situation again. Maybe I'll come back. I swear I had something. Right. Oh, okay. I know. I have one. Okay. Here we go. So, if what is happening? Oh, I pressed the wrong one. Okay. So, if this was use of deadly force, why were tires shot and not the driver? That's my argument.
Okay, so generally when police use deadly force, a deadly force can also be still counted as only used against the vehicle tire and the vehicle itself. The reason why generally officers, if they're running, so generally in real life, whenever officers are using deadly force against the vehicle itself, they're generally not using it against the vehicle's tires, but are using it against the passenger. But in this kind of time,
well, the driver in this case, because the passenger was the hostage. Yeah.
The reason why they were generally aiming at the tires was that it was less of a risk at aiming at the back tires, which are much more lower, than aiming at the driver, since the hostage was sitting right next to it. Thus, there was a higher chance that while using the deadly force, the hostage could have been hit than while the suspect could have been hit than of the officers shooting at the tires.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that is a good argument. Can I rebuttal that? Let me think about that. Okay. So, just to recite, to be clear, your argument is that generally deadly force can be used against any part of the vehicle, including the tires, and in this case they wanted to avoid hitting the hostage, which is a legitimate concern. Again, we'll go back to, like, the only thing that's popping up in my head right now is, they shouldn't have done it near a cliff, but you agree with that, so I can't use that because you agree with it. I'm thinking maybe we can move on to why the case was voided. Like, do you agree that the case should have been voided? Because that was a more compelling, like, kind of a debate thing, because it's more of a gray area. There's more bureaucracy involved in it, and rules being made up on the spot as well. Do you want to move on to that instead?
Sure, why not?
Okay, let's move on to that instead. So, this situation happens. The hostage dies. Then, hostage's family, not script-wise at first, makes a court case, files a sues the police. I'm just gonna simplify it a little bit. Sues the police. Admins voided because family wasn't scripted in. So which side are you on in that case?
Again, I would say that again I'm sort of
In the middle.
in the middle.
Well, that's actually
because
good.
I understand.
Yeah, both sides.
I sort of understand the admin sides of why they decided to void this, but I also understand the side of why he wanted to roleplay this. I think in this sort of instance, the admins should have just backed out and just overwatched the judicial case and just let the judge make the decision based on his experience and based on his knowledge. And then if the decision was in quotes dumb or stupid, they should have then intervened.
Okay. So you're kind of more leaning towards the side that admins weren't justified in voiding this case?
I believe that the admins should have just overwatched this case and let it kind of just continue. But again, I don't have every possible
So
fact
you
about
don't mind
why it
taking
was-
either side again?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't mind taking either side.
Okay, so let's, since we're already here, let's just have you take the side that admins were justified, and I'll take the side that admins weren't justified, okay?
Sure.
Okay, let's do this. Okay. So, back to the situation. Let's just decide for those who are just joining. This is what happened. Allegedly, the guy in the passenger seat is a hostage being driven around by this guy, and then they started opening fire, even though there was no guns involved at all. It flies off a cliff. They both died. Characters died. And then the player roleplays their family member suing the police department. And because that and the important thing to note, right? The important thing to note, and this is just for clarification. When they sued, right? It was January 20th, 2020, 6 p.m. There was no rule that said that characters actually had to exist to be able to sue them. Like, they didn't have to exist, because that rule was added that same day, 5 hours later. 5 hours later, and then that was pointed out. So that's interesting. They made up that rule, and that character then started existing after they made up that rule. Okay? And that's when the case started, and then admins closed it because they are arguing that Fatima was created after the court case, even though that wasn't technically a rule. So that's an interesting situation, a very kind of mixed bag, and okay. So why were admins justified?
My question is, was he already role-playing with the family prior to this incident?
Let's just
Was he
assume
already
no.
role-playing?
Let's just assume
if
he
he
wasn't.
So if he wasn't, then... So, in this situation, if he wasn't role-playing the family before, as NPCing the family before, why should he then be allowed to NPC it just for him to gain, in quotes, something out of this?
Just to gain... I'll just stop it. Why should he be allowed to NPC it? Okay. Okay. Good argument. Let me come up with a rebuttal. It's actually challenging debating you. I like that. It's a good sign that it's challenging. Do we have anybody? No, nobody else in the waiting room. Okay. So, admins weren't justified. So you're saying, why should he be allowed to NPC his family? And that's my counter argument would be that See, that's challenging for me because I also kind of agree with you. But some people don't always interact with their family often. That doesn't mean that they don't exist. Okay, that's my rebuttal. What do you think about that?
So I feel like that is sort of a decent argument, but again, if you come back to the point, you still sort of have to have some form of roleplay interaction that you can have as evidence to subject to this.
So you're saying you should have
like
past roleplay with your family before you can roleplay it in other situations, right?
I mean, I know it sounds kind of bad, but this is some sort of like, why should you wait? Give me a second. Let me think about this.
Mm-hmm. Don't be afraid to make any point you want as long as it's relevant. It's okay.
So it's sort of as a thing like, if as the point was made here, like if on RCRP you are not allowed to NPC or deny NPCing the corner because you want to genuinely roleplay the process with the firefighters, why like I could see him do this if he died, if his character died and he created a new character and roleplayed it as the character's brother,
Yeah.
and then did the case, then yeah, that would be normal, which he could have done, which he didn't do. He decided to take the easy option, which wasn't really about, I think, which really wasn't about the roleplay, but it was about just making a quick buck.
You genuinely think it was about making a quick buck? Okay.
I think it was just so the
well,
so
that's
the
kind of the thing is
quotes
about that is I think that's kind of relevant to the discussion a little bit because we're kind of debating whether admins were justified in voiding the case, not really why they made the case in the beginning. But what I will give you is that you are allowed to not NPC people, and that is a valid argument. So let's stick with that, okay?
Actually, let me add to that, is that if you want to NPC someone, you have to have permission from all the parties involved.
Yeah, because you are allowed to deny NPC, police are allowed to not RP NPC their family, right?
Yeah, basically, if you are allowed to deny NPCing something, that does then apply to everything, meaning that if one party decides that I don't like NPCing this,
Yeah.
all other parties, it's the same thing as if you could kind of like apply this to the gross roleplay rule.
Yeah,
That
you
all
need permission
parties
from everybody before you proceed with discussing roleplay. I see what you mean.
Yeah.
So basically, if you want to roleplay something that isn't scripted in, that isn't a real character, you need all member parties' permission who participate in the roleplay before you do that. Makes sense
Basically.
to me. Okay, let me make a counter argument to that. That's very difficult. It's very difficult to make a counter argument to that. Let me think. Because you're allowed to deny NPC. But you can always come up with an argument. That's why debates are important. And that's why third parties doing debates are important, because otherwise there's just endless debates. So we're just debating until we hit a gridlock. Okay. So you said because people are allowed to deny NPCs, police are allowed to not RP NPCing their family. My counter argument is that there was no rule that said you had to have a real character when filing a suit. It was made after the suit was filed and the player immediately made a character.
Okay,
So that's
isn't there a common, what is the rule called?
Common
I think
sense
there's a
rule,
rule on
yeah.
RCRP. Common sense rule. I understand that it's really vague, but I feel like, again, I understand that the argument is common sense can be very interpreted on how you believe it was, So for one person, this can be classified under the rule as common sense, and for another person,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be classified as the rule of common sense. But I feel like if you're gonna roleplay something and genuinely want to be involved in it, you should create a person and then have a reason behind it. Does what I said. If he wanted to make the case as the family member, why didn't he create a new character, which then his roleplay reason to roleplay as the character would be to like his he could create the character and create a character behind the reason of avenging in quotes his brother by winning the case, thus providing the server and himself with quality roleplay.
Okay, so I'm kind of a little bit twisted up with your argument. You're saying that basically you're saying that common sense rule in RCRP should indicate to him that he should have made the character, right?
Yes, and to that I added that
Okay.
basically if he did this case about the roleplay and this, then he could have just created like his brother, like the character that would have been the brother of the guy that died, and then there would be no problem because the character would be played. It wouldn't be an NPC.
Okay. Okay, that's a valid argument. Okay. My counter argument is gonna be common sense is a too vague of a rule that can be that can be interpreted differently by different people, and because of that it shouldn't count as a valid argument. Okay, do you have anything to say about that?
Let me think for a little bit.
It's getting challenging, isn't it? I like this because otherwise it's just a yelling fest. Like last time I was just talking over the other person. Now we're letting each other finish. Now we're writing down the points, and we're coming to conclusions. This is much more productive in my opinion. So this is good. I like this. What's a character? He's just saying character. Okay, guys, come on, don't make fun of his accent. The children benefited from the money earned with. Oh my god. He looks like a mafia member in the suit. Well, technically, like anybody wearing a suit would classify as a mafia member, right? Firing a gun at all is lethal force regardless of the target. Yeah, can't argue with that. I mean, I can technically, because... I'm not gonna argue with that. Yeah.
I mean, I sort of agree with you, but my counter argument to that is going to be, if it's such a vague, why is it also used in real life in many situations in which you can be punished because a lot of people agreed that it was under common sense while you didn't believe it was under common sense, and you still can get punished for it.
This is good. You're providing like real life kind of what you're doing is you're comparing this situation to previous cases where similar situation has happened, which is what they really do in like courtrooms and stuff like that. But you can't just say, why does it happen in real life? Because you're kind of like implying that there's a given that this happens in real life. What you need to do is you need to provide at least one example, a specific example that this has happened in real life. So what are you talking about?
So what I was trying to point out is that the common sense rule could be also applied to real life situations in which a person will be punished for basically what other people think is classified as under common sense. I'm not talking about legal grounds, but I'm talking more about like
In what scenario? Like a private community?
I'm talking more like it's sort of like ethical rules, you could say, like ethics, like in which if many people think that something is common sense while you didn't think it's common sense, you'll still get punished for it even though it's not a written law.
If many people think something is common sense even if it's not written in law, you still get punished for it. Okay, I guess my counter argument to that would be that that's mob mentality and isn't always rational, nor is based on any rules or anything that is relevant to the rules.
Now, my counter argument to that is, if so many players are having a problem with rules not being written there, which are then classified in quotes under the common sense rule, why hasn't it been changed? If so many players have a problem with it, why hasn't then been rules, like new rules added that make the common sense rule not vague?
Okay, why weren't there more rules made to clarify? Okay, great.
If it's such a problem, of course.
Yes, okay. Now, my counter argument to that is they made a new rule 5 hours after the suit was filed, stating you had to have a real character.
Is that your counter argument?
Yes. So
Now, my counter argument is that even I'm gonna use a in real life counterpart, but then I'm gonna
you have to
apply
be
it to
specific
this
though. You
situation.
can't just say,
Yeah,
"Oh,
yeah.
this happens in real life." You have to at least provide an example, like in which
Now,
setting, when this
lot-
has happened.
A
You
lot of in real life laws are done because someone has done something wrong, which people believe is wrong. Thus, the rule was only created because it happened for the first time. The rule wasn't there because it wasn't a problem before.
So the rule should be enforced even if it didn't exist before.
My main counter argument, what I was trying to say, is that you cannot create a rule for something which wasn't a problem before, because if it's not a problem, you don't need a rule to enforce it.
Yeah, there's no rules against people flying because people need some, there's no law prohibiting you from flying without any vehicles or a jetpack, right? Because you can't do it physically.
It's not possible.
Yeah, at least it's not possible so far. Maybe it will be
Yeah.
possible. In which case, they will probably make some laws. That's a compelling argument. Okay, so I guess I have to make a counter argument to that. Hold up, let me just readjust everything because, oh my god, there's just so much we've been talking about recently. Okay, so many points. Okay, I think we have to have a limit at some point. We're gonna come to a deadlock at some point. Let's go for like 7 or 13 more minutes. And yeah, okay. So my counter argument to your point, and your point was, just to remind people, when those rules are only made when they become a problem the first time, and this was the case where a rule became necessary the first time, right?
Yes.
Okay. So my counter argument is that if the rule didn't exist before, it is not fair to enforce it because the person could not have known that it wasn't allowed. So that's my counter argument.
No, I agree with you on this, but I am going to again point out the common sense rule and why it is there. It is there for situations like these, in which the admins can then apply this rule to situations in which they believe they don't want happening on the server, but they were happening for the first time. Thus, they apply the common sense rule. Now, again, I agree that, as I said before, that the admins in this sense should have created the rule and then let the situation play out and just monitor it. Unfortunately, they did what they did.
So I think we've come to a deadlock at this point because we're starting to see sort of repeat of arguments. Do you think you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we can go ahead and look at the straw poll, see if anything has changed since we started the debate. I mean, if we wanted to be fair, we would restart the straw poll and we would just look at it again and see if anything has changed. You know what I mean? That would be the fairest way to look at it. So far we had 77 votes, so let's have a look at what the jury is on. Oh, it's actually 2 votes away from... It's very close, it's very close. You should have it. You should have access to it in the interview room.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay. So I'm just gonna put it up on the screen so that everybody can see. This is really close, and I like this subject specifically because it's just the people cannot decide. Yeah. Okay. Oh! Oh! Whoa! 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 41, 41. There's IP tracing, so this isn't the case of somebody repeatedly voting one way or another, unless they're changing their IPs, which is possible, but unlikely. So this is just interesting. 42 versus 42 votes. Oh my god, the jury is split in half. And they can't decide what's a vote. 84 votes, guys. 85. Oh my god, we just... The case should have stayed in IC.
If you're willing to, I'd be up to have a discussion about the use of IC and OOC evidence in the court of law on roleplay community.
You know what? I was about to end this stream, but you intrigued me so much with that. I can actually bring up a case from the Red County court where that exact situation was a problem. So we can debate that. We can debate that. Okay, so before we go, let's conclude this. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna set up a timer, okay?
Sure.
Timer. Countdown. It's gonna be 1 minute timer. So the jury has 1 minute to come to a conclusion, okay? And we'll see what the conclusion will be, okay? Start. Okay. Let's see what we got. Oh, a lot of people are voting the case should have stayed IC. Oh my god. I don't think they're gonna come back. I don't think they're gonna go in favor of admins this time. I think the jury has actually decided that this is better. There's 91 votes. 91 votes. All of them from unique IP, because we have IP duplication checking. So you can't vote from the same IP twice. And, you know, this is interesting. They were split and they were actually going in favor of RCRP admins earlier, but now they changed the opinions. So I think we've come to conclusion that this case should have stayed in character-wise. What do you think about that? Do you agree with that?
As I said at the start, at the end of the day, I believe that I'm again kind of in the middle ground, but I'm sort of kind of tilted, you could say, to the IC side. As I said, I believe that because it wasn't a rule before, they should have created the rule against this and let the situation play out while they would be monitoring the situation and making sure that nothing bad happens, and then just let it play out IC and create a rule so it doesn't happen again.
So basically you're saying not enforce a new rule on this case because it didn't exist before, but enforce it on the next case, right?
Yes.
Okay. Personally, I agree with you. I've actually said that before. I've been punished in LSRP for rules that didn't exist. Then they start existing after I was punished. And it's the most frustrating thing ever, because those punishments are really severe. But yeah, I agree with you that it definitely feels unfair. Would you say that this kind of split, 54% saying that this case should have stayed IC, do you think that kind of represents what you're feeling? Like how much you're leaning onto that, or do you think you lean a little bit more, a little less?
I believe that every person has its own opinion, and the opinion is based decently about what he believes, which is, I believe, my kind of understanding is that person's belief is generally not based around facts, but about what his opinion is.
Yes,
So
and
it's
this is
around 90% his opinion and then 10% facts. So that's why if I'm speaking with someone and we have a totally different opinion, there's generally no big point of me providing a lot of facts because it's not going to change his opinion,
Yeah.
because his opinion is generally based around what he feels about the situation.
okay. Yeah, can't argue with that. But yeah, so basically the jury has had time to decide. No more votes are coming in. Basically, by a very small majority, the case should have stayed IC. Is the conclusion that we're coming today at Userone Talks. Okay, right. Let's move on. You wanted to debate a different topic at this point. You wanted to debate whether or not, in character-wise, use of out-of-character evidence in character-wise, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I guess the question should be, should physical evidence be required? Physical evidence should be required. So, do you not mind which side of the argument you take here as well?
Again, I'm sort of in the middle ground again.
I really like that because
So
that allows us to see both sides of the coin. I always try to see both sides of the coin. Alright, physical evidence shouldn't be required. So we'll have you take the side that it shouldn't be required. Okay?
sure.
Okay. From SCSP, to be clear. That's because at the end of the day, the players, they have to provide physical evidence. They're not going to be trusted like police are. So the players have to provide physical evidence. The police do not. Do you agree with that?
Oh wait, really? I thought that the rule stated that all players are allowed to provide OOC evidence. And
They are allowed, yeah, allowed, but not mandated.
Oh, I know why. Because in the law states that all kind of witness evidences in which a law enforcement officer is not the one providing the statement is classified as a circumstantial evidence, while an officer statement is classified as full evidence, right?
Not only that, they're also allowed to roleplay physical evidence, even though they don't have any. So, such as dashcam recordings. We'll get into that in this case specifically. I'll just give a quick summary of the case while I find it. So, my character, civilian, we'll just say, drives. Civilian. See, the thing is, I don't necessarily know whether I came to a complete stop or not. I just wanted to refute that, see if they had physical evidence. That's kind of the whole point. I didn't recall failing to stop. I usually stop at stop signs. That's why I wanted to recall that. Okay, civilian drives through an intersection with a stop sign. Whether they stopped or not, there is no physical evidence. Okay. That's the situation. Police officer pulls them over, issues a ticket. Civilian sues police and appeals the ticket on grounds of lack of evidence. Police officer provides multiple varying testimonies until they stick to one. Police officer RP is having physical evidence, but doesn't for Sealy. And civilian loses the case. Okay. Can you guys see that text? It's a little small, but it's kind of necessary to see the entire. I guess my face doesn't necessary, so I'll just make my face a little smaller. There we go. Boom. Put me in a corner. Okay, put my name over here. Okay, there we go. Debate format. And we're gonna change. We're gonna have a different strophel for that, but I'm gonna add it later after the debate. Okay, so we're gonna extend this stream a little longer than expected. And I'm cool with that because I actually do want to have this debate a lot. So let me just quickly find. Oh no, my home. I think my home crashed. Oh no, it didn't. Okay, good. Please don't crash. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and find the court case. I don't know if you're familiar with it. Probably.
I've seen you discuss it before, but I'm not like directly involved. I was previously in the justice system on Red County Roleplay actually before I left, but
That's very convenient for this case because this is very close to home for the situation. Alright, so I posted the link to the actual appeal. It's just funny that I was appealing a ticket for a month. Okay, on the roleplay server, let's just have a look. So here we are. So this is technically an appeal. See, this is interesting because I had to submit this, but in character-wise, the state of San Andreas is the plaintiff. Because in real life, what happens is you can't just get charged by police without going through the court. That's how it works in real life. But on a server, that's logistically impossible. So the police just charge you with whatever they want.
I mean, it is logistically possible. I can explain why later.
Okay. Well, yeah. Okay. It would be great if that actually happened. It would be great if that actually happened, but it doesn't. Because maybe tradition or whatever, maybe they just don't see it as necessary, whatever. But basically, okay, in character-wise, it's the police charging Michelle, and the counter-argument that the defendant has is that they do not recall failing to stop at the stop sign and they wish to contest the ticket. That's the only argument they have. So, at first, right, so, do you see the first testimony?
Yes.
Yeah. So while patrolling around Palomino Creek, I've seen Miss Jefferson here driving and passing 2 stop signs. So I basically couldn't just ignore it, she broke the law, so I had to pull over, see what's going on according to the penal code. $500 for 1 traffic stop, Jefferson passed 2 and still got $500. And I don't really know what's going on regarding her statement. Your Honor, after acknowledging plaintiff's statement, the defense would like to make a request to dismiss the case on the basis of lack of evidence. Do you like my response?
It is legally, it is. The only problem is that this, I believe, has not gone to the pre-trial section, thus giving motions is not...
Mm-hmm.
Because
I'm not super familiar
if
with the justice system, I'll be honest.
Yeah, if they're following the basics of justice system, both of the parties should be providing the opening statement, and then the pre-trial motions can be happening, such as the dismissal of the lack of evidence, based on the lack of evidence.
Yeah, that's the case. Well, I think we do that immediately after. We all submit the evidence that we have, and Michelle is just arguing that, oh, he doesn't have enough evidence. I don't need to prove my innocence. He has to prove my guilt.
Yes, of course. That's the basic of.
So let's look at the first one, because he actually got the color of the car wrong in the first testimony. He still won the case, by the way, but whatever. You'd see Michelle Jefferson driving her perennial pinkish one. He says it's pinkish, passing just on the Palomino Way's main street. Palomino Way's main street is not a street, but there's a street called Palomino. There's Palomino Way, and I think there's Main Street. 2 different streets, basically, in Palomino. But he kind of combined them into one. It's weird. And they're also not interacting at all. They're parallel to each other. But I show it later. I went in depth into this one. And she takes the left towards PC Gas beforehand. And in front of the studios, there's 1 stop sign. And the other one just before. Michelle did not manage to stop at least one of them. And just drove through them. So that's what he said, okay? This is his testimony. And then he some irrelevant comments. Just irrelevant comments. Like, also, I'm looking forward to see the evidence of Michelle Jefferson stopping at the stop signs there, which she said she did. That's not true. I never said I did. I just said I recall doing it. That's a little different, but very important difference. It seems a bit fishy that it goes so easy for her as she issued me for giving her a warning ticket that she... Okay, I'm sorry. Am I dyslexic? Am I the only one having trouble understanding what he's saying? Can you read what he said on the end of the first page and tell me what he meant?
According to the penal code, wait,
The first
which is
page. The
one?
first page. The
Okay.
last
Also, I'm
message.
looking forward to see the evidence of Michelle Jefferson stopping at the stop sign there, which she said she did. It seems a bit fishy that it goes so easy for her as she issued me. Okay, yeah, the English of what he wrote there is a little bit broken.
Okay,
but
so I'm not dyslexic. Whew, okay.
no.
Okay.
The basic definition of what he was trying to say is that he is looking forward to see your evidence of you stopping at the stop
Okay.
sign, and then continuing that you said that you did, and also that it seems very fishy to him that that you are appealing this since you've received a warning ticket, basically.
A warning
For them.
ticket for $500. Yes. Okay. And for a charge that actually didn't technically exist, by the way. He was using a wrong penal code at the time.
Yes,
But
I've
okay,
heard about that.
officer, it served you well to evaluate your tone in this proceeding. I love that, by the way. Ms. Jefferson, do you have a response to the court? Your Honor, please allow defense 4 days to evaluate the plaintiff's evidence and prepare a full response. I think I heard somewhere in the courtroom that you are allowed to ask.
Yes,
for
you are
motion.
allowed to request a recess to evaluate a certain piece of evidence. But generally, again, I don't believe this is following the basics of criminal trial. So if this was following the basics, this would be generally the opening statement, and you wouldn't be requesting a certain amount of time to reevaluate the evidence since it's still in the pre-trial. Thus, you would be giving a response to the evidence in the
So you have to
trial itself.
immediately make a response? You can't prepare it?
No. Generally, if an evidence is given, it is still in the pre-trial section. And in the pre-trial section, you will not be generally giving a statement on the evidence. You will be doing this in the trial itself. Because the trial itself is split into different sections.
Okay. Let's not get too complicated.
Yeah.
But what would happen instead? What would the defense do in this case?
So in this case, if it was following the real life standard, the court would give a certain amount of time itself.
So I wouldn't have to.
You wouldn't
Basically,
have to
saying I
request-
wouldn't have to ask for it. The court would just give me the time.
Yes, after all the evidence is submitted, the court will basically give something around 7 days, or the whole kind of section of the court proceeding will be 7 days for all the evidence to be submitted and for all the evidence to be reviewed by both parties, and then questions can be asked around the evidence.
Yeah. At this point, right, I had two options. I could stay in character-wise. I could argue that there was a malfunction with the dash camera because it's displaying a pinkish perennial when my perennial was gray and still is gray. I haven't changed its color since I purchased it. There it is. This is the gray perennial that was used. And I decided to not go that route because I felt like it would be a little cheesy. I tried to fix that, okay, you know? So I addressed it out character-wise. I said there's problems with the dashcam testimony. He said Palomino's Way's Main Street, as you can see on the map that I attached, which is a legit map. There's Main Street and there's Palomino Way. There's no Palomino's Way Street. Those are two different streets and they don't intersect at any point. So that was odd. She takes left towards PC Gas. I showed him the two opportunities where it was, but then later, he clarified that there was a studio, so I found it. I understand that I'm going very in depth into this case.
No,
But-
of course.
but-
I mean,
Yeah.
this makes sense. You were trying to make your defense as best as possible. The part of the defense is you're not trying to prove that you're innocent because you are already innocent. You're poking holes in the story and in the evidence that the prosecution grants you and shows you.
Yeah, but the
Because-
problem is all of this is out of character because
Yeah.
I was an idiot and I didn't stay in character and just say that the dash camera was flawed. That's what I should have done instead. Okay, but anyway, yeah,
Yes,
I argue that
because-
she couldn't have possibly
I'm
went
just
over
gonna-
two stop
Yeah,
signs.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say that basically when you base your case about proving the innocence, generally what happens is you actually prove that you're guilty because you are working at the case as if you are guilty. You need to be working on the case as if you're innocent and you're poking holes in the story of the prosecution. That's
Yeah.
the way to win it.
Because it's
Basically.
presumption of innocence, not presumption of guilt.
Yes, you as the defense, you are not guilty. At this time in the trial, you're still not guilty. Thus, you need to take the trial as you're not guilty because you're not guilty. and
Especially
poke
with
holes
criminal cases,
Yeah.
you have to prove that somebody is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt.
Wait,
like,
which is
there's-
basically, I think, 89% or 80%, I think, something like that.
Yeah. Okay, so even if the jury went like 50-50 or even 60-40 that you're guilty, it still won't go through because there's not enough jury, right?
Yes,
Technically.
basically. So there's two things. There's the beyond a reasonable doubt, and then there's the prevalence of evidence. The I think prevalence of evidence, or how it's called, it's used for civil proceedings in which you have to be 51% sure that the person is guilty of what the civil proceeding is about. And then there's the beyond a reasonable, doubt, which is used in criminal trials, which is, I believe it's something around 79 or 80, like 89% that the person is guilty of what he is being punished for.
Yeah. This is interesting because he gives so many different testimonies, but he still won the case in the end. Anyway, if at any point you want to express the satisfaction of level of other character proof, we ask for police officers, I direct you to public feedback thread. Okay. Dashcam footage. So there, he finally gives me like a solid dashcam footage. Here you go. Which show perennial driving through Bluff Drive, failing to stop at the stop sign that causes problem in the way. So again, this is an out-of-character testimony about physical evidence, right? Physical evidence. So basically, his out-of-character testimony is taken as in-characterized physical evidence, and that's the issue that I have with the whole system. Because he can just lie, and I have to prove my innocence. That's the situation that we end up in.
Now,
But-
if I can say something real fast,
yeah.
which is basically this whole citation thing was based around a penal code which wasn't at that time active.
Yes!
Thus, the judge which was presenting over this case should have thrown this out.
Yes! That's exactly what I thought. That was my defense.
The reason why is that basically you cannot charge someone for something that doesn't exist. Thus, it's the problem of the prosecution that they charged him for something that doesn't exist.
You would see this goes back to the point. Common sense is not common. Common sense is not common. You would think that it's common sense that you can't charge someone for a law that doesn't exist, but apparently here we have a Red County roleplay judge who I respect, who is trying his best. He doesn't care. He doesn't care that the prosecution made a mistake and tries to charge Michelle for a case that doesn't, for a law that doesn't exist. And to be clear, okay, I just wanna show the defense that I used, okay. So again,
just let me add something to this.
Yeah.
For those who don't understand this, it's something as, let's say I am a prosecutor. You are I don't know. There's enough evidence to prove that you've I don't know, broken someone's or stole someone's gun. And you stole someone's gun, which is a class 1 firearm. But I, as the prosecutor, charge you for a class 2 firearm. Now, if I go to court and I still have enough evidence to prove that you stole the class 1 firearm, but I charged you for the class 2 firearm, now what will happen is that I'm charging you for something you didn't do. Thus, the court will be looking for the class 2 firearm, but they only see the class 1 firearm. They understand that you did something incorrectly, but they can't charge you for what I'm trying to charge you for.
Yeah,
does.
it's not the court's job to just find charges to apply. It's the
Yes, it's the
police's
prosecution's
job.
job.
It's
Yes.
the police's. So the court shouldn't have just changed the charges, in
Yes,
my opinion.
yes,
I think that
yes,
kind of undermines the
basically.
entire system.
And the thing is that the court should have thrown this out, and then if the officer tried to give you a different citation,
Then
you
maybe we
could
look at it.
you could argue with that I'm not sure what the motion is called now because I've
Double
not
jeopardy, I
done a
think.
lot of judicial.
I think it's called double jeopardy. You can't.
It's called double jeopardy. For those who don't know what that means, double jeopardy basically means that if I commit a crime and you charge me for something and it gets thrown out, you're not allowed to charge me for the same crime with a different crime now. For the same incident.
For the same incident.
Yes.
Yeah. So you can't, if you found not guilty, you can't be found guilty again for the same incident unless there's more evidence that comes in.
Unless, of course, you can, but you have to appeal it. You can't file a new motion or a new trial.
Yeah, exactly. So, what the defense was in my case was exactly that. I was charged with failure to yield. Right? That's what I was charged with. Failure to yield. And the failure to yield from the Penal Code 2019, which in January of this year, 2020, was still active. It was still active. It was active up until he even tried to like argue against it. But I actually have a screenshot saying that yeah, it's still active. Let me show it. There it is. So as you can see, Penal Code 2019 was active at the time. Penal Code 2020 only came in force in February, and at the time it was January. So he was looking at the wrong penal code. The police officer was looking at the wrong penal code, even though it's in the title. Like in the previous episode, somebody argued, "Oh, the announcements. You to get to the rules, you don't have to put all the rules in the rules section because there's an announcement section." People can even miss the title of the thread they're reading. So it's funny, but yeah, I agree with you completely that this case should have been thrown out because they're trying to charge me for the wrong crime, but the judge corrected it automatically. The law allows for law enforcement to exercise discretion in issuing offense tickets. In this case, it appears that the officers issued you an infraction for a violation with a lower maximum fine, 700 versus 1,000. Furthermore, the officer demonstrated leniency with one count when he observed two. Do you have any comments on this? On these arguments? Are they arguments? Are they relevant?
So it's the same thing as saying, as the court basically saying, you had two firearms, but the officer charged you for one firearm, but now the officer doesn't have enough evidence. But since he only charged you for one firearm, I believe he was lenient enough. Thus, I will place you guilty for the one firearm.
I should appeal this case. I should straight up appeal this case.
You should. I am not sure if the law on RCRP allows you to appeal traffic citations. Actually, it's kind of, in quotes, fucked, because theoretically you're using the criminal charges appeal, while there should be another template used as traffic citations appeal.
I mean, technically,
Theoretically, it is still a crime, but generally, when you're appealing a traffic citation, there's actually now it is an infraction appeal, because any kind of traffic law and the laws there is an infraction.
Yeah.
It's an infraction, basically.
Okay, so basically you're saying that this closing statement is irrelevant to the proceedings because they didn't
Let me
prove...
read the rest of it.
Yeah, okay. That being said, the court will be happy to amend the charges to reflect the true nature of your actions. See, they just amend the charges. They just fix them for the cop. The prosecution doesn't need to know what they're charging them with. They can just throw in the charges and the court will fix them for it. Is that how it works in real life?
Again, the job of the court is not to press charges to a certain individual. Of course, the court has a certain permission to press charges, such as
I believe
such as
contempt of court.
Yeah, contempt of court. A judge on his own belief and according to the law can charge a person with contempt of court. Which, of course, yes. But they're not allowed to amend charges unless requested by the prosecution and unless there's some certain of point behind it. If the prosecution charges you for something that you didn't commit, while you committed something else but they didn't charge you for it, it's their own problem and the court case is going to get thrown.
Well, again, this is all great and all, and I agree with you that I think that for this court case, for the court system to work, it should reflect real life. It should, the judge should be a third party. They shouldn't be on the side of police. They shouldn't be on the side of anybody. They should just be a third party judging it from afar. And I
if
agree
you
with
don't
that.
mind, I have to go for 5 minutes. I'll be back if you don't mind.
Okay, no problem. Meantime, I will just talk about this, but yeah, we're gonna get ready to debate this once you're back. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and read some comments. Yeah, I'm. This has been a long day. Okay, long stream, guys. I am very excited to debate this. I'm actually excited. Hey, listen, there's a better roleplay game coming out. It's called. Okay, man. Look, cool. I'm gonna check out all kinds of roleplay servers. If you want me to check out a roleplay server, you can reach out to me. I can do sponsorship videos and stuff like that. That's how I usually do it, but you know, when there's something big, maybe I'll go on after it. Okay. What's he talking about? What happened? This is about a court case that happened in the Red County roleplay. We're gonna debate whether or not police should, like in roleplay servers, police should need physical evidence to be able to charge somebody with a crime. Because right now they don't. Right now they can charge anybody and they can say in character-wise that they have evidence. They can lie about it, and then you would have to need evidence yourself as a civilian to prove them wrong. That's basically what this is about. Do we have anybody else in the waiting room? No, we don't. Okay. Change the waiting for interview channel to allow 2 people. There's no need for that. I can just bring 1 person at a time, and it's much more easier to control that way. Okay, because I also need to have evidence in case somebody, you know, trolls, in case somebody does something that, you know, we have people that sometimes come in and you know, abuse the stream to just get the 5 minutes of fame. In case that happens and stream gets disrupted, I want to be able to hold the people accountable, because that's the only way to mitigate that risk, mitigate that people's ability to just troll and just dismay the stream. Okay, so let's read some more. Let's call up, see what kind of comments we got. What's the topic of the debate? The topic of the debate, yeah, you're right, we should probably change that. Let me go ahead and, so, should police in RP servers be required to post physical evidence? And I'm gonna lower it down a little bit. That's a little too small.
Okay, I'm back.
Awesome. Okay, so we're gonna start the debate now. The topic of the debate is should police in RP servers be required to post physical evidence when RPing it? That's pretty much the topic of the debate right now. A lot of people saying, oh no, it's basically it's too logistically impossible. You said you're kind of split on the issue, right? You're
Yes,
kind of in
yes.
the middle? Okay, so you don't mind arguing that they shouldn't be required?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so we'll start with that. Why shouldn't they be required?
Because there's a rule governing metagaming. Thus, oh, sorry, my bad. I moved for some reason. The reason why, I believe, again, there's a rule basically enforcing this, which is called metagaming. And when an officer uses such things as a body cam or a dash cam, he's basically using it an IC way, meaning that metagaming can be enforced on this because he will be making something up which didn't happen, which is metagaming. And
So you're saying it's not a problem because there's a rule governing metagaming, and if they lie, they can be held accountable, right?
Yes, basically, that there's a rule that is covering.
Okay, okay. So the counter argument to that is that it's almost impossible to hold police accountable for lying for something that didn't happen, because you would have to have physical evidence that it didn't happen, thus requiring you to film yourself 24/7. So that's my counter argument.
Hmm. Now the question is, if you're saying that it's impossible to
I said almost
have,
impossible.
it's almost impossible. Doesn't this apply to both of the sides?
So you're saying
That it doesn't only apply to law enforcement officers. If this is a thing, then both of the parties, meaning both the prosecution and the defense, it's very hard to hold them accountable on this. Meaning that if this is allowed, it's also allowed for the other party.
it's not, though,
How is it not allowed?
because they're gonna believe a police officer's testimony, but not a. Okay, Okay, let's go back to the. I just want to clarify something. Let's go back to the situation here. So he made a testimony, another character testimony for what happened in Character-wise, okay? Where is it? I believe it's in the second page. It's almost the bottom of the second page, yeah? Okay. So he makes this testimony, other character testimony, that is supposed to be in-character footage. Now, if I want to dispute that, I have to go out of character, report him for lying out of character, and now I have to prove that he's lying out of character. Do you see how I'm required to post evidence that he's lying?
But you can then, again, I on this matter I agree with you, but the same could be applied to the law enforcement officer.
So you're saying
You could roleplay in game that, I don't know, Slash Me withdraws a phone and starts recording, and then use it on a case and do the same with 2 stars and then write it out, and the officer has to do the same as you.
Wait. Hold on. So you're saying this goes both ways, basically.
Basically.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So my
Both
counter
of the
argument
sides.
to that, that this goes both ways. When a cop is arresting someone, it is up to them to prove guilt, not up to civilian to prove innocence. So that's my counter argument to that. Is that a valid counter argument in your opinion?
Yes, I
Okay.
believe it's a decent and a valid counter argument. Now, let me give me a second. I need to review the RCRP rules because I'm not sure if it's also on RCRP, but because of the current on how the judicial systems work, what is on LSRP, again, I'm not sure if it's on RCRP. I'm going to look for it. Is that the probable cause is not the same definition as it will be in real life, because in real life, probable cause is basically it's the same as preponderance of evidence. The officer has to be 51% sure with factual basis that the person committed a certain crime.
So,
While
but the thing is, they don't need to provide any physical evidence for that. They can just say that they're sure.
Well, yes, but how it's edited on LSRP is that the officer, in very big quotes, acts in a way like the judge, in a way in which they have to be beyond a reasonable doubt that the person committed a certain crime.
So to be clear, there is no third party in LSRP court system.
No,
It's
there's
just
course,
you versus the police, essentially.
there's still the court system, but because the court system, not a lot of people want to be involved with it. Not a lot of people want to spend a lot of the time on the forums trying to appeal their court or trying to appeal their charges. Sorry. That means that the officer, in a way, has to, in quotes, act as a judge
In his own court
because
case.
well, there's not a court case. It's just that the officer has to have a decent amount of evidence, which then he can be sure beyond.
So
a
he
reasonable
actually
doubt
needs
that the person
physical
is
evidence,
guilty.
not just in character physical evidence that is just out of character testimonies. Or is that enough anyway?
Well,
Can an officer just state that they have physical evidence and that's enough?
Well, again, it applies the same thing as both parties can use the thing of I have had a recording of this. Thus, I can, even if I didn't record it OOC, I have the reason and the permission to use the double stars because, again, you
But
then
what
come back
happens?
to the
What happens when there's a conflict? Because the officer makes the testimony first, and then you need to challenge that testimony. But to challenge it, you need physical evidence, don't you?
Of course, but then generally, what? Well, actually, a lot of the times, you won't have, in quotes, physical evidence. But if the person is indeed telling truth, would your main point as the defense would be to poke holes into what he saw, with asking questions which can be tricky to answer. And then when the officer tells you an answer which doesn't really hold up with it, you can then point out like, oh well, if he doesn't remember this, how can he fully remember the
So
situation?
basically, you're
how can he
saying.
be sure that this really happened?
So to be clear, it's like we are interrogating the cop. So it's what cops are supposed to be doing to us, but we are now doing it to the cops.
No, this even happens in real life, because generally, when an arresting officer arrests someone, or an officer arrests someone, he becomes the arresting officer. And then when the case is presented to the court, the arresting officer is placed on the stand, in which he's being asked questions around the evidence and around what he saw that day. With then the defense point and what they're trying to do is ask the person the questions which make him, in quotes, confused, which then can point out do stuff like, oh well, if he cannot remember this, how can he be sure that this person is really the person that committed the crime? Or how can he be sure that this person is the person that was in possession of the firearm and it wasn't that guy? How can he be just sure that this is really the guy if he cannot be sure of this?
So you're saying cops' testimony can be challenged?
Yes.
Okay. My counter argument to that is that. Let me think of a good counter argument to that. Cop's testimony can be challenged. A cop doesn't have to give any more detail than necessary. They have the right to be silent and can avoid any challenge by just maintaining a simple stance.
Now,
that a valid-
in a way it's valid from your point, but from my point, then what I'll say is that when you are in a courtroom placed on the stand, you revoke your Fifth Amendment right. It's the same thing as if I read your if I'm the arresting officer and you're the person that's being arrested, and I want to question you, and I read you your rights, and you clearly say that you understand them, and I ask you a question, and you keep on answering the questions, and then in the middle I ask you a question, and you don't answer to it, you just self-incriminated yourself.
I disagree with that. Hold on. So your argument, hold on. You're saying that when you're on a stand in a courtroom,
yes, you revoke your Fifth Amendment right. When you take the stand, you are not allowed to not answer the question unless an objection is created on that
question. Really?
Yes.
Okay.
It's the same thing as.
Well, okay, this might be true, but the example that you provided, I disagree with. You don't self-incriminate because you don't answer police's question. I don't agree with that.
No. If I'm interrogating you in a room, and I explicitly read you your rights,
and then I choose to not say anything.
In the right, no, and in the rights, it is clearly stated that by I'm not sure because communities edit this heavily, but generally in real life it is just you have a right to remain silent if you say can and will be used against you in court. You have a right to attorney if you can inform an attorney only be pointed to by state when it's available at this current time. Do you understand with these rights as I read them to you? And after that,
Yeah, Miranda
officers
right,
generally
Miranda
ask,
right, yeah.
with these rights in mind, do you wish to speak to me?
And
If
then
they
I can
say
say
yes.
no, and then I'm not incriminating myself.
Yes. But
Okay,
when
so
you
so
say,
I misunderstood you. I thought you said
Yeah.
when you said no, it means you incriminate
Yeah,
yourself.
and
Okay.
when they say yes and they start answering questions, and then you ask them a question and they say I don't want to answer, then they just self-incriminated themselves because they said that with these rights in mind, they wish to answer them.
Okay.
They wish to answer the officer.
But you're saying that when you're on a stand in a courtroom, when you're being asked questions, you cannot refuse to answer at all.
Unless the question is contested by an objection by one of the.
What if you answer I do not recall, which is what we commonly hear on
Well,
testimonies?
that is basically in quotes the loophole, but it's a loophole, but in a way it's also not a loophole because then you can point out that, let's say, if I ask you a question, something that is really something that points out to the situation, and you say I cannot recall, I can now say, oh well, he cannot recall this. How can the court be sure that he can recall another situation which happened, which is very, very kind of main point of this whole courtroom? How can the court be sure he's not just making it up on the spot if he cannot recall the situation which happened, I don't know, a day ago or 2 days ago?
Well, there's no way there's some situation goes to court literally the next day. That's not happening.
Yeah, I'm not talking about this, but let's say
Okay.
there's a situation which you've been involved the day or 2 days before, and you don't want to answer the question, and you say, I do not recall. Then he can say, okay, how can he not recall, or if he cannot recall this situation which happened so like only a few days ago, how can he then recall a situation which happened a week or 2 weeks ago?
Okay,
You know?
so your argument is that I do not recall loophole discredits their testimony. Here's my
Yes.
counter argument. It doesn't matter because
It basically discredits the prosecution's side. If you say I do not recall, then the defense can use this.
to argue that why should we trust their other testimony? But let me finish my counter argument.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter because their testimony is OC, and it's being treated, I see, as physical evidence. Therefore, you can't contest it because it's being treated as in characterized physical evidence. Do you have a counter argument to that?
Well, this is sort of again a thing in which you kind of go to in a little bit a standstill, because what I would now say is that if it's such a problem that in many other cases it happened where officers were saying something that is incorrect and their testimony is counted as a hard proof and not only as circumstantial evidence, why wasn't this amended before? Why wasn't this changed ever? Why wasn't there a petition, or why wasn't there an appeal to the to the San Andreas Supreme Court about this law so it can be changed? But again, then when you come to a standstill and we again kind of move further and further from this kind of point that we're trying to create.
I'm trying out different formats for debates. I think this is better than just yelling over each other. It's very difficult and ambiguous to tell what is exactly directly relevant and what isn't. So I'm just taking in everything. I like to just treat everything equally for this law to be changed. But again, this is not really a counter argument to my argument, though. This is just saying, oh, this should be changed. You kind of agreeing with me.
No, I'm saying that if this is a problem, if you see this as a problem, why don't other people see it as a problem? Because if other people see it as a problem, then it would have been changed. Because if the mass sees it as a problem, then generally the problems are changed.
Okay, so my counter argument to that is that problems arise all the time. Just because majority doesn't see an issue with something doesn't mean it isn't an issue. So, is that a valid counter-argument?
Yeah, I believe that is actually a very valid counter argument. So I have to think about say now.
I like this. This is very civil. We're not yelling over each other. Like I said, like last time it was a mess. I think at one point I said "fuck you" to somebody. But to be fair, they were like a cheater, a bandit, but no, it doesn't. I'm not even going to justify it. It wasn't okay. I'm a host. I shouldn't be saying "fuck you" to anybody. And yeah, I'm gonna change that now. We're gonna be more formal. As you can see, I actually got a shirt this time, not a t-shirt under my jacket. So we're gonna take it seriously. Okay. But we're not gonna take this much longer because I've been here for like hours. We're gonna conclude this generally like maybe 15 more minutes, and then we'll see where we come. And then we'll do a straw poll and see what the jury has to say about this case.
Now, the problem is that I've come to the standstill in which I kind of are like I agree with your counterpoints. If this is a problem, it should be changed, even if it's a small problem. In this, it should be the reason why this was implemented was because of the metagaming rule, of course, and of course because generally a player that makes it into a legal faction has to sort of work more of a decent amount of time to actually work himself to a full-time position in the faction. So generally there's some form of a time behind it. So the server management and the people that wrote it believe that that is enough to discredit metagaming for them, because they know if they get punished for it, they're going to lose much more because they put a lot of the time into getting the position they're currently in.
So that's a counter argument in a way. Basically, you're saying that people in police factions are trusted members who have a lot to lose. Thus, they will be less likely to lie on the stand, right?
Yes.
Okay. So my counter argument to that is testimonies can be inherently misremembered, misinterpreted, and inaccurate. Furthermore, because something is unlikely, it doesn't mean it won't happen. So, there you go. I'm running out of space already.
Again, this is the problem with it, that I agree that this is a problem.
Okay, so I think we come to a standstill at this point. How about we send it off to the jury, see what they have to say, okay?
Sure.
Okay. I've enjoyed debating with you, honestly. This was a lot of fun. Okay, jury, make your decision. Should police in office servers be required physical evidence when charging someone with a crime? Yes, they should be required to submit physical evidence and not just copy having it. Yes, so at least two options are required. No, they shouldn't be required to submit physical evidence and can just copy having it. Okay, create poll. Okay, there we go. Now it's time for me to post the link to the poll. I'll post it first in the stream. Now I'll post it in the chat so that people can easily join and vote. Okay, and now we need to set a timer. So what's a good timer for a jury? How long does it usually take a jury to come to a conclusion?
I believe it really depends on the case, but I'd say like maybe just for the sake it's over the internet, maybe like 2-3 minutes.
Okay, let's do 3 minutes. Okay, so we're gonna set a timer for 3 minutes. Here we go. Wow, the previous case has 253 votes. Okay, let's see about this case though. Oh my god, what is it? So you go ahead and go in and vote. I think I can just go back, click on my own link. Wait, I copied the link. I just used the copy. Okay. So show me the results. Okay, so far 2 votes. Alright. Here we are. Split 50-50. Okay. I didn't vote myself, but yeah. Look at this. Okay. Yes, they should be required to submit physical evidence, not just RP having it. It's winning by 1 vote. Hold on, let me put the timer on the screen. My bad. There we go. Put it here. Does it look okay? Yep, okay. I'm gonna put my face up here. There we go. 2 minutes left on the timer. Looks like yes is winning, so physical evidence should be submitted. Not many votes so far. This is exciting. What do you think it will win? Do you think it will be yes or no?
I generally think it'll be yes, just because I don't know. I just have that kind of feeling, and I kind of agree with it at the end of the day.
Would you be interested in playing on a server that actually requires physical evidence, not only from like police but also admins? Like that's kind of what we're trying to do with Roleplay Union. We're trying to we have an evidence tab which is open to the public. Whenever somebody gets punished, we post evidence within 48 hours, or the admin can get reported and actually punished for not posting evidence.
I generally think that if the community was on GTA San Andreas, then yes, because the the game has been like it's pretty old, and the specs required to run the game is not that bad. So having a recording software in the behind, then yes. But I'd say GTA 5, that will be more of a harder question, since not a lot of people have good enough of a PC to run the game and also run OBS or some form of a recording software.
Yeah, I know what you mean. This is an interesting topic. So right now it's split 50-50. We have 25 seconds on the clock. Is the jury gonna land? What's it called when the jury just splits 50-50? Lock somehow, right? Landlock or vote lock? It's something to do with the lock. There's a word for it when the jury just can't decide. Is this what's
No,
going
when the jury can decide, generally what happens is in the United States.
Oh my god! At the last second! No, they shouldn't be required to submit physical evidence! At the last second! Oh my god. Well, that's how it goes. Okay, so we've come to the conclusion, at least today, that jury shouldn't have to submit physical evidence.
To finish what I was trying to say.
Yeah. So.
So in the United States, the judge, the position of the judge is just to overwatch the case basically and not make any decisions himself. Then the case of the jury is of course to make the decision if the person is guilty. So there's actually free states, free kind of things. There is guilty, not guilty, and there's one thing in the middle. I'm not sure what it is called now. I just forgot it. It's
Really?
basically that.
I thought if you couldn't prove guilt, you just assume they're innocent.
No. There's a thing in the middle. I'm not
never
sure how
heard
it's
that.
called. It's a thing in which the jury believes that the person is guilty, but he shouldn't be punished.
What? What?
Yes, it is actually a thing. Give me a second. I'll find it for.
Also, the votes just split back to 50-50. I don't know if we should count that. I mean, we did say... to be fair, we didn't announce the timer beforehand. We didn't use the timer beforehand. And the timer before, you know, if we did that before, then we would have had a different outcome like previous time. I don't know. Let's just say it's split 50-50. Because somebody voted at the last moment. I don't think it was fair. Whatever. We'll just assume it's split 50-50. Uh, I am very curious about this because this has been a problem for me for years when I've been trying to roleplay, and I just run into this problem when they take it out of character-wise when I think they should have kept it in character-wise. I think it's been an issue repeatedly, but I can't just say it and have people believe me. I have to prove it. So that's kind
There
of
you
what
go.
I'm
There's
trying
the
to
video.
do. Oh, you submitted something in the. I see it. Okay.
On a jury, you know
The law you won't be told. I don't want to watch it on stream because I'm
Yeah, it's
probably
fine.
gonna get struck. I'll watch it later. Thank you. Okay, I'll have to look at it.
It's wait. Let me find what it's called. It's called null boya. It's basically when you nullify the law and you make the decision. So it's basically the thing when the jury finds the person guilty, but they don't want to punish him, so they also find him not guilty. And also the other way, meaning when the jury believes that the person is not guilty, but he should be punished, thus
Wait.
they find him guilty.
The
It's a-
person
it's a
is
thing
not
that
guilty,
wrong.
but they should be. That doesn't make any sense to me.
No. It's written in the law, but generally it's not allowed to be used because, as you can clearly tell yourself, it's bullshit in full. So, but what I was trying to say is basically
What is the
that in
justice
United
system?
States-
What's the point of it?
that in the United States justice system, the judge itself is the overwatcher of the court, while the jury is the judge theoretically. And if the jury doesn't find the person guilty, and it's actually juries are set up in a way when it cannot be 4-4 because there's always the amount of members where it cannot be an even number.
Aren't there 12 jurors?
I don't believe that there are.
The
I
saying
believe-
goes, better be judged by 12 than carried by 9, I think. Yeah, that's the saying. It means better be judged by 12 jurors than carried by 9 people. You know, like when you die, you have a casket carry you. It's referring to people who would
Oh,
rather...
actually, there's 12. My bad.
Yeah.
Nullify that. I think I was talking about jury in my country. Never mind. So if there's 12, so then it goes the way that if it's 6 by 6, the jury basically has to redo the trial. The trial has to be redone.
So it's declared a mistrial, basically. Okay,
Yeah, it's
okay.
declared a mistrial because the jury cannot come to a conclusion.
Okay, but the point of it all is that it's frustrating because they're taking it out of character-wise whenever they win, but we have no recourse like that. We don't have any means like that, and it's basically a requirement for players to record themselves all the time. And police are not required to record themselves. They're not required to record anything. And, you know, we can debate about this endlessly, but I think we should end it now. Because it's been hours. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for this civil debate. I'm glad that we finally evolved to the point that we can have civil debates when we're not interrupting each other, where we can disagree, but at the same time have a civil discussion. This is great. Thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to thank for your time. I enjoyed it. It was civil, and it was more than about the game itself. It was more about kind of discussing topics that generally can even apply to the real life with someone who has a differing opinion or who has the same opinion.
Mm-hmm. It's very annoying because usually, you know, when you try to have a debate with somebody, they take it like a personal offense, you know?
Yeah.
But it's good to be able to have a platform where we're actually able to talk about this without worrying about repercussions because of the personal opinions that we state. Because sometimes, you know, when you say it in a private community, you might actually end up, you know, annoying some admins and they'll use their big discussion to actually punish you. Here, we won't have that happen. Here, that won't happen. The only way you'll get punished is if you are, like, intentionally trying to disrupt the stream. But then, again, thank you so much for coming. Thank you all for also assisting with the stream, being here. We have a lot of people still watching after hours in. I'd say 16 people is more than a lot of people. to be watching like 3.5 hours into the stream. And as always, stay awesome. See you next week. If you want to participate, link is in the description to the Discord. Goodbye.